Okay, I do believe that might have done it. I do believe we might be live. All right. Hey, what's happening, everyone? Thanks for joining me for another Sunday morning live stream. I'm just going to try real fast to find this stream on my YouTube channel and make sure the audio is coming through, and then we'll get started today. Hey, what's happening, Omar? Can you hear me okay? All right. Just going to make sure I'm coming through okay. All right, looks like we are coming through okay on the audio. Fantastic. All right. So here in the US, we had a time change today. So we're going to be a little bit just still 10 a.m. here, but we're like an hour different. We set our clocks back an hour last night. So if this is a different time for you, like if you're not in the US, it's going to be this time that we're streaming for the next little while. All right, let me turn up my headphones just a little bit. What we're going to be doing today, hey, what's happening, Patrick? What's happening, Tony? What we're going to be doing today is we're going to hopefully be trying to create some old school drum and bass. I've got quite a bit of retro gear out today, and the inspiration for this session today came out of me just going through some of these patterns the other day for the Korg EMX-1000 Electribe. It's got a lot of really groovy old school drum and bass patterns in it, and I found one that I was like, we should make something out of this, like in the current times. And so what I have done here is it sort of occurred to me that most of the patterns in the EMX-1, in the Electribe EMX-1, are all tuned to the same key, the key of C minor. And I started thinking about this, and I realized that in the Quasimidi Rave-O-Lution 309, all of these patterns are tuned to the key of C minor as well. And also, the Quasimidi Sirius over here, all of its inbuilt melodic content is tuned to the key of C minor. And also, all of the content in this vintage Quasimidi Raven over here is all tuned to the key of C minor. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be using sounds out of these 4 vintage pieces of gear: the Electribe EMX-1, the Quasimidi Rave-O-Lution 309, the Quasimidi Sirius, and the Quasimidi Raven. And we're going to be sampling all of this material today into the Akai Force. The Akai Force is going to be where we're going to record all of these out and use this as a main sequencer. We're not going to be doing like MIDI sequencing. We're going to be sampling everything in today in real time. I don't mean in real time, I mean piece by piece, individually. It's going to be a really heavy sampling session. So at the end of the session, all of my sounds from this, from today will be in just this one box to work with. You can see the Raven. I don't actually have this out in here all that much. It takes up, it's the biggest keyboard I've got, and it takes up so much room in here. I usually have it just kind of stored down here under the table. But today we're going to get old school, and we're going to definitely get sounds out of all these boxes. Hey, what's happening, Connor? What's happening, Inverted Popes? Thanks for tuning in. All right. So let's see here. Let me play you guys what inspired today's session. It's this groove, just one of the factory grooves inside of the Korg EMX-1. This is groove B number 5, and it's groove DnB 16. We're going to get loud in 3, 2, 1. Maybe not. There we go. Pretty groovy old school pattern here. This is just the Electribe EMX-1 that we're hearing. But I've got these other devices MIDI synced up, and I can bring the volume up on something like this Rave-O-Lution 309. Okay, I can turn the volume down on that, or bring the volume up on this Sirius here. Mute some of the melodics here from this Electribe. We can hear some patterns now coming out of the Sirius. If I turn the volume up over here on the Raven, now we're hearing some chord sounds out of the Raven. Now, if you're not familiar with some of this old school gear, I want to just take a moment and talk about the actual pieces that we're using today. The Electribe EMX-1 is a groove box from the 90s. It's got a whole bunch of built-in drum sounds and melodic sounds. You've got a whole bunch of drum tracks. You've got 5 synth and melodic tracks. So we're going to be using the built-in content of this machine today. The Rave-O-Lution 309 is also a drum machine and a synthesizer, or bass lines synthesizer. So this has got drums and also melodics in it. The Sirius is the same. We've got drums and we've got 3 different melodic parts. And also the Raven is the same. We've got a whole bunch of drum parts, and then we've got like 4 different melodic parts as well. Now, what makes the Quasimidi gear super awesome is that it comes with these patterns that they call motifs. And the intention of this gear was that even if you didn't actually know how to write music, that you would be able to combine these patterns that exist inside of these machines and create your own unique stuff from scratch. It's just kind of sort of going to go together because everything in these boxes was tuned to that same key. Now, we can randomize the results out of each of these Quasimidi machines, and we're just going to be doing that today. We're going to record some drums and bass out of the Electribe. We're going to be recording everything into the Force. I'm going to be going really slow and step by step today. It's not about like recording loops in super fast. I'm going to take the time and record everything as accurately and appropriately as I need to. We've got some effects boxes out today as well, if we want to get creative, extra creative along the journey. I've got the Eventide micro pitch delay pedal, the Eventide Tricerachorus pedal, the Strymon Big Sky reverb, and also the Erica Synths Acid Box 3 out today. One more thing we've got out today is the Pioneer RMX-1000. And that's what we're working with today. We're going to try to keep it relatively straightforward with just these pieces of gear. And it takes a little bit of time to get, actually started, as we don't have anything going at all yet. We'll need to start recording out some of these elements and, working on levels. So it's probably going to be a long stream today, and it's probably going to be a little bit, of time getting started today. So I'm going to just thank everybody for your patience and for hanging out, like right off the jump. Let me check in with the chat real fast. Hey, what's happening, Martin? All right. Yeah, I got Opie over here in the corner. He is out. He is snoozing. He just had some food, and he is down for the count. Okay, let's go ahead and start by sampling the drums and the bass out of this Electribe into the Force. What we're going to do is I've got some short monster cables here, and I can just sort of take our main output here, and we can go left out and right out, and I'm going to plug this directly into the back of the Force so that we can sample these in. We've got 1 and 2 here. All right. And we'll need to adjust these levels and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to go into the recording menu. Now, I've got so much gear out today, and I've only got 2 cameras. So it's not like I can get a really, close-up shot of what I'm actually doing in the Akai Force. So I'm going to be talking you guys through everything that I'm doing the best that I can. But I apologize that, you're not going to see the screen on the Force super close up today. We're going to go to the sampler page, and I'm going to turn the monitoring on so that we can hear what's coming through. Now I'm going to need to sort of set this level for the stream here. Everything now is currently being routed through this mixer here so that we can hear it. This is just a really cheap mixer that I picked up from Amazon. I thought it was going to be, too crappy to even use. It was like a $100 mixer, but it's actually been really awesome. And I've been using this for the last couple of months on some of these live streams. It's just a really basic mixer, no USB. It's not an audio interface. It's just, for plugging everything in and getting that signal out to the speakers. If anyone's interested in an awesome cheap mixer, link is below in the video description. So what we're going to need to do is we're going into here so I can adjust all these as needed. Fantastic. Let's check our level. Okay, I'm turning down the Sirius, and I'm turning down the Raven, and I'm making sure that the 309 is turned down. Okay, what I want to do, I knew this was going to be a little bit difficult because I've got so many lights on in here that it's kind of difficult to see the actual lights on the gear, if you know what I mean. So like trying to tell what tracks are muted and not muted, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge today. What I want to do is go ahead and just sample out the kick and the snare first. So I'm going to basically mute every single track in the Electribe except for the kick and the snare. And I'm going to try to get my level going here so that I'm getting a pretty decent level into the force. I may need to adjust, the output level to the stream a few times during the stream so we can get that all sorted. I'm getting a little bit of an uneven level on this kick drum, so I want to see if maybe they've got the kick drum panned in a weird way or something. No, it doesn't look like it. I can fix that once we sample it. It just seemed a little bit off. I'm kind of surprised that Korg let that go through, to be honest with you. Oh, I guess I can sample it without it playing, right? But I really do want a hotter level than that. Turn the tube gain up just a little bit and continue to adjust these levels here. Also, I need to, adjust the master level so that I'm not sitting too much out to the stream as I start getting more level into the force here. Okay, cool. We're going to go ahead and call this sample kick 1, and we're going to go ahead and keep the sample. And then I'm going to go into the menu, and we're going to edit that sample real fast so that we can program our own kick rhythm here. Let's see here. Sample edit. And I'm just going to trim out one kick drum only. And I'm going to get in here and start. Let's see, let's normalize this sound. I don't know if you guys can get any view at all. Probably not. Yeah, not at all on what I'm doing. Sorry about the cameras. When I got a lot of gear out, it's really difficult to actually show it all at the same time. Okay. Just going to zoom in on this and get right in on the beginning of this kick drum. I'm going to try to be going slowly today and do all of this sampling like really accurately, per se. Process and discard. Cool. Okay, and then what we can do is make sure we're on a, let's see, we'll get this drums track going, and I want to go into the notes of this, and looks like we've already got it assigned there, which is fantastic. I'm going to fix this panning on the sample real fast as we get started because it's panned a little bit to the right for some reason. So I believe I can fix that. That's better, I think. And let's go ahead and grab the snare now. Cool. Really old school drum and bass snare there. I'm going to call that snare 1. All right, and keep that. Then I just need to go back into the menu. That's the thing, is every time we sample today, I'll need to be going back into the menu so that we can, looks like for some reason I didn't actually get that snare recorded. So I'm not sure what happened there. We'll go back and fix that. Okay, should have got it that time. And go back to the menu now, and the sample edit, snare 2, it's not there. What? I'm not seeing the end here. I see. I'm not on Zoom is the problem, so I probably can just, yeah, there it is. Cool, no big deal. All right, we can trim this out now. Process and start trimming in here. Zoom in on this. I know this is tedious, as we get started doing the, very beginning editing on these sounds. So thanks for hanging out with me in the beginning, everyone. All right. Just going to check on the end of this sample. Yeah, that's nice. We're going to discard, and then let me just do a tiny fade out at the end, and we've got our snare. All right. Fade out. Do it. Cool. And let me normalize this as well so it's nice and loud. Okay, do it. Fantastic. And we can assign the snare to this next sample here. So now we've got our kick and our snare. Let's see. Hey, what's happening, Inky? Yeah, this is a really fun setup today. Wait until we get going because we're going to be just randomizing stuff today. So, like, we're going to have hopefully a lot of fun finding some unexpected stuff. The Raven specifically which is one of the reasons that I got it. Actually, this was a lowball eBay bid. It's kind of in, pretty bad shape. One of the knobs doesn't work. It's missing the screen. It's got a broken key. It's not the max version of the Raven. It's just the regular Raven. But one of the things about this that makes it so cool is that it has 400 inbuilt patterns for all of the parts. You've got 400 different kick drum patterns in here, 400 different snare drum patterns in here, 400 different hi-hat patterns, 400 different like sequence patterns, monosynth patterns, and 400 polysynth like chord patterns as well. So we're just going to be randomizing these today, maybe changing some of the sounds, maybe not because my knob isn't working so great. But yeah, definitely going to get some, unexpected and really 90s old school results today, I think. What I'd like to do, I'd like to maybe try to recreate the kick pattern that they've got going here, the kick and snare pattern. So if I okay, so let me go to the metronome and turn it on. Let me hear that again. Come on now. Why am I not getting that? Yeah. Don't you. Okay. Well, I guess I could just play along with it. I'm obviously not going to get that roll, but I believe I got like the first little section of the beat here. Nope, we didn't actually get it. Okay, let me actually get it then. Let's say recording. Oh, then my metronome goes off, so I'll fix that. Yeah. Oh, we did get it on the second. Oh, come on. All right. I see what's going on now. I just need to delete this because it looks like that's going to mess us up a little bit there. So let's get rid of that. Shift and delete. All right. Now, back to Matrix. Cool. And we're recording 3, 4, 2, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 2, 3, and I'm going to leave that double snare in there. That was actually a mistake, but I kind of like the way that sounds, so we're going to leave that for now. I'm going to turn the metronome off for now, and just checking these levels as we get started. If I'm sending too much level to the stream, or if we start distorting or something, just let me know, and I will try to fix that the best that I can. what I want to do now is I want to try to get these hi-hats recorded out of the EMX here. So we're going to go back to the sampler, and if I mute the drums and unmute these hi-hats, we can find these hi-hats maybe. Oh, I see I have the volume down. This is where I was talking earlier about it's so much light in here that it's very difficult for me to actually see the pads being lit up here. Oh my gosh, like really difficult. Maybe I can solo these instead. Where are my hats? Are they here? Yeah. I just want that, okay, I think I want to, let's see here. I want to make this clock internal, I think, for just a second, so that, yeah, 170, cool. I'm just going to be able to press play on the actual unit now and sample that in. Checking my level here. You see, I don't want that big loud roll to come through at the end of this recording, so I'm going to just get those hi-hats real fast. Perfect. All right, so we're going to call this, I'm going to embed the name into the sample. This is 170. We're working at the tempo of 170 today, by the way, kind of an older Skool jungle tempo. Current, not jungle, but drum and bass, rather. Current drum and bass is more like 172, 174 BPM. Really old school drum and bass was like 160. So we're going to kind of meet in the middle today with the 170. Hi-hats, loop 1, do it, and keep. Cool. Now we can assign those hi-hats to this pad here and actually have a beat going. Let me, I need to edit those hi-hats first, actually. So let's do that. I'm going to just trim out right on the beginning of the sample here. Keep that open and start trimming this out. Gonna get right in on the very, very downbeat of these hats. This is all old school today. We're just sampling these pieces, you know, individually, piece by piece. We're doing the editing. Okay. I think I want to normalize these hats as well. Let's see if that might be too loud. Yeah, but I can bring that volume down on the hats. Cool. And then now we can go ahead and go into our clip, and I can just put these hats in at the beginning of every bar because I sampled just a 1 bar of these hats so far. And see, edit end, and then put that on 1 bar and duplicate that out a few times. I'm going to be working in 8-bar loops today is the intention. All of the patterns, rather, that we're going to create inside of the force are all going to be 8-bar patterns today. I just need to do one more thing on this hi-hat sample, and that's tell it that when I hit it, that it doesn't play the whole sample, that it only plays when I hold the note down. See if I can figure that out. Cool. All right, so, right, okay. Oh, I see. We've got a sample issue here. Why is that? I'm not sure. I got the hi-hats where I want the snare to be. So I'm just going to fix that and put our snare back on this pad. All right, there we go. And now I can launch our drums here inside of the force. And we're getting a little bit, you know, started of recreating kind of the groove that we're getting out of the EMX-1. I'm just going to take a moment and sort of adjust a couple of these sample levels real fast. I'm going to bring the volume on this snare down a tiny bit and the volume on these hats down quite a bit. All right. All right, we got a really basic start here. I am a chronic oversaver, and I encourage you all to be chronic oversavers as well. So we're going to go ahead and save the project at this time. Let's do a save. Yeah, okay, cool. I've already got a name on there, so all I need to do is basically just shift and save at any time, and it's just going to embed everything into our save. So now that we've got a really basic, drum start of a pattern here, let's go ahead and get the bass line out of the EMX1 because that's one of the things that really drew me to this pattern specifically is the groove of the bass. So I'm going to go back in to the sampler here on the force, and we're going to go ahead and try to just solo the bass part on the EMX. Oh, right, I see what I've done here. I made the the master clock for the EMX internal. So yeah, so now I'm basically. Oh wow, that was trippy. Do I not? Oh, I see that. I just want to solo this one track, you guys. That's all I want to do here. I don't want these going. Just the bass, please. There we go. And I'm going to need to adjust these levels here quite a bit because we're getting way too hot of a signal coming in to the force. Ooh, this bass is sick. I hope you guys can hear that. If you're on a phone or a small, iPad or something, you might not hear some of this low tone that's coming through right now, but it is really nice, and got a little bit of a tacky kind of a punch transient on the beginning of some of these notes. I really like it. Okay, fantastic. So what we can do then is we can go ahead and, we're gonna start on the downbeat. Fantastic. So I'm just going to go ahead and record this bass line in, and maybe later we'll chop it up and make some variations of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, and all right, so there is that bass line in its entirety now, and I can go ahead and label this. We're going to call this 170 C minor bass 111 or something, right? Cool, do it. And we're going to keep that. What I want to do now is I want to create a bass track in the force because we've got just one track so far for our drums. And so I'm going to create another drum track so that I can just load samples onto it. We're going to label this one, and we're going to call this bass 1 for now. And let's see, maybe give this a different color so it's not super yellow. All right, fantastic. And let's shift and save at this time as well so we embed that new bass recording into the sample. I need to get a clip going for the bass line, so I'm going to double tap there to put the clip in. Now if I just go into the clip, we should be able to go into like note mode on this track and then assign that bass line sample to this pad here. I see we need to actually go in and edit that out real fast. So let me go into the sample edit menu and start trimming this guy out for us. Process and discard. Cool. And then bring the volume down on this. I'm going to zoom way in tight here to the very beginning of the bass so that I can trim the start point right where it needs to be, right as this sound is starting, so we can, get it all matched up with our tempo. We're going to process and discard that. Okay. Whoops, going to zoom out on this bass now, make sure everything looks okay. I'm not going to worry about trimming the end of that for now, but what I can see is I've got, a few different sections here that we might be able to chop up and use to make our own variations with later in the project. Now that we've done that editing, let's save. If you guys aren't familiar with these streams or why I'm a chronic oversaver, I just hate to lose work, If something happens and I have like maybe even a tiny power fluctuation in here and it's enough to like trip the unit, then we're going to lose everything in the box unless I'm constantly saving. So typically, every time I add a new, piece, I'm like, okay, save. That way, if anything goes wrong or like if we ever make a mistake during this session and like forget how to get back or the undo's not helping us or something, we can always just, reload. Cool. So we've got the bass now, and we want to go and we want to put the bass on its own track. So we're going to put that on track 2. And the only thing I need to do then is tell the bass not to play the whole bass line every time I hit the note, but only to play it when I'm holding down the note. Now we can go into the clip itself, and I can just put a note on the very downbeat here. And we can hold this out for a full 8 bars because we sampled a full 8 bars of that bass loop. And now I can take a moment, hopefully, and try to, get these levels a little bit, gelling as best I can with the headphones. We should be hearing the bass line and the drums now. Cool. So I think our drums are pretty loud compared to the bass. I think I've got an extra note happening on those drums as well. I'm going to try to find that. So I'm going to just sort of zoom in here and try to find that extra note. I hear it, but I don't see it is the thing, which is really strange. Something like right in here. Maybe. No, I don't. I think we're just going to ignore that for now and move ahead with the stream so that I don't get us too sideways. Cool. All right. How's the mix sounding there? Can you guys hear everything okay so far? I'm not hearing these hi-hats, and let's find out why. It looks like I've accidentally put the bass here where it should be the hi-hat. So there's the hi-hats. And then on, what am I doing today with the sample placement? And then on the bass, there we go. Yeah, okay, cool. Hey, what's happening, Mobile Music Pro? Thanks for tuning in. What's happening? All right. Drum sounding good, thank you. Just gonna try to, it's hard sometimes on headphones. I think I'm gonna mix that snare a tiny little bit less in volume, just real fast here. And the hats as well. In a few minutes, I'll check what this sounds like on my monitor speakers and maybe make an adjustment or two as we start building this foundation today. All right, so fantastic. Let me go ahead and save. So we've got a bass line out of the EMX1. We've got the kick drum, snare drum, and the hi-hats. But rather than just, sample their entire pattern out and recreate it, let's immediately, take a left turn. And let's add a sound now out of either the Raven or the Rave-O-Lution or the Sirius. Why don't we do a little bit of collabing, and you guys can let me know in the chat whether we should start with like a melodic sound now out of the Raven, out of the Rave-O-Lution 309, or out of the Sirius. What do you guys think? I'm going to let you guys think on that for a second while I have a sip of coffee. Because depending on what we get here, it's really going to influence, the path that this track takes. So choose wisely. Yeah, see, no. EMX is, oh, I see. He's just answering the question. Yeah, this is the EMX. It's got inbuilt sounds. We don't get to import our own sounds. It has drum sounds and then 5 tracks for synth and bass parts as well. All of the patterns in the EMX1 are tuned to the key of C minor, and all of the inbuilt patterns of the Quasimidi Raven, the Quasimidi Rave-O-Lution, and the Quasimidi Sirius are all tuned to the key of C minor as well. So this is kind of an interesting old school combination today that's going to get us, hopefully some nice random results. All 3. Yeah, we're going to get to all 3. We're going to get to all 3 for sure. All right, so we've got a couple of votes for the Sirius, and we're going to go ahead and start with the Sirius today then. Let's see here. Currently, it's routed into the main mixer, so all I need to do, if I'm not mistaken, is just go ahead and launch our clip and turn the volume up on the Sirius. And what we can do is we can can get into this random pattern generation now, which is just what these Quasimidi, devices are so awesome at. All I need to do is hit Shift and the synth, and it's going to randomly generate a new part for us. I don't think, that's the one we want, so let's try again. Do you hear, though, that even though it's generating, new patterns, that they're in key with our bass line? So if we find a pattern that we like, it's not this one. If we find a pattern that we like, I can either change the sound that's playing, that part, or we can just take it as is. This is a really old school riff, though. All right, actually, I've changed my mind. That riff is growing on me like minute by minute, right? So what I'd like to do is go ahead and just sample that in to the force now. We're not going to use it right now, but I'm just going to keep it as a backup for later, is the thing. And what we're going to do is I just need now to reroute the Sirius into the force so that we can sample it. And I believe, is this going to be long enough? No. So I have lots of cables to grab today for whatever we need. All right. And we're going to run this into the back of the force. This is the left and the right. Cool. And get my coffee out of the way here because I don't like loose cables around the coffee. That's going to pull that off the desk and we're going to have a nightmare on the stream. All right. So here we go. Now I'm routing the Quasimidi Sirius directly into the back of the force. And what we can do is go into the sampling menu inside of the force, and we should be able to hear this coming through. Cool. Just going to set a decent level to record this part. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to record like, I don't know, like 8 bars of that riff. I'm going to go ahead and just arm the force, and I'm just going to press play here, which is going to, start the MIDI going and start, the pattern playing. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, and I should have hit stop and not launch. I'm going to try that again. I really want to try to get it an even 8 bars. So I'm going to try to go ahead and just discard that for now. Going to hit arm to record and try again. No, I didn't have it double stopped on the downbeat there. Let's try again. Discard. Nice and clean one. 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, and fantastic. So we've got that riff now sampled in to the force in case we want to use that later in the session. We just need to remember it's there if we're looking for a riff later. We're going to call this C minor. We're just going to call this like, I'm going to call this Big Rave Riff. Big Rave Riff. Okay, cool. And then we're going to go ahead and keep that. Fantastic. Now we can just go ahead and keep randomizing and keep scrolling and see if we find something else that, we want to put in right away. I'm going to hit Shift and the synth 1 part. We're going to get a new synth part after that pattern plays. Kind of a nice 303 part here. But not quite what we want. So I'm going to hit Shift and synth again. I don't really know what I'm looking for specifically, Brought up that same riff again. Not that. This is the beauty of this type of workflow, is that I don't need to worry about, really writing anything right now. We're just trying to see if we can get some stuff from different boxes to gel together. Sometimes, this takes a while. We may get lucky. It may, not get as lucky. Let's try again here. I like this too, but not for like our main riff, but I do like this for like a turnaround or something. I'm going to set the level inside of the force here and try to record this little part in. Alright, this is synth 3. Yeah, that's what I thought. We can get a hotter level on that for sure. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to let the tail sort of ring off on that one. I'm just going to hit record, and we're going to record this in. We're not going to use this one now. We're just going to keep it as a backup for later in the project. You go ahead and arm. Let me launch the clip. 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect loop there. Not, loop, but, perfect recording. We didn't get the downbeat of it playing again, so a nice recording of it there. And let's see, we're just going to call that, let's call that Big Rave Riff 2, so it doesn't take a lot of time up on the stream. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and hit, play on the force again, and we're going to keep randomizing. A nice chord hit. Ooh, I kind of liking that. What can we do with the cutoff on that? It's pretty extreme. Maybe I can bring the filter down. Nah, it's not really letting me as much as I would like to. Here we go. Okay, I like the way that this sounds, and I think I would like to record this chord, riff into the force, but it's got a little bit too much high end on it than I would like there to be, and I think this would be a great opportunity to try to use the Erica Synths Acid Box 3 while we're sampling this. So I'm going to plug the Sirius directly into the Acid Box 3, and we're going to take an output from the Acid Box 3, and we're going to run that into the force. So we can remove a little bit more of the high frequency content from this sound right as we're recording it in. Sorry for the clicks and the buzzes, everyone, and thanks for your patience today. All right, let's check this out. I don't want that modulation level. Cool. That's what I'm talking about. Gotta try to get a little more level on this sound if I can. Yeah, I can get quite a bit more level. Adjust these inputs now. Alright, the reason that I like this is there's not a whole lot of harmonic content. It's a really smooth sound, meaning it's gonna leave room in the mix for us to add other sounds. All right, let's go ahead and record this in. If I just hit arm over here on the force, now I can play our groove, and it's going to play the pad sound from the Sirius here through the Acid Box. Let the tail of that sample ring out just a little bit. All right, and we're going to label this, let's see here, this is a 170. Probably doesn't, allow you to see any better, but I'm just going to change it up every now and again anyhow. C minor, this is a chords pad, and let's just call this like 01A or something and keep that. Let's go ahead and save at this time as well, so we embed that sample into the project. All right, and I just need to create a third track now. So we've got our drums track, our bass track, and now I'm going to bring in another drum sampler so we can load our samples onto it. We're going to give it a name, and I'm going to call this synth pad, so that we can maybe keep this, we can add more pads to this, maybe the same sampler as the track progresses and builds up a little. Cool. And let's see here. We just need to put a clip in there. I don't believe I actually edited the sample yet, so we'll do that. We're going to go into Sample Edit in the menu and choose the right sample. There's a Big Rave Riff 2, Big Rave Riff 3, and then 1 and 2 rather, and then our chords pad. So we can start editing this. I'm going to get right in on the very, very beginning. Right in. All right. And discard that. I think that'll probably what we need, but I would like it to be just maybe a little bit louder. And that's one of the things that the Force really excels at, is like the editing of the samples in the box. We can fade in stuff, we can fade out stuff, we can normalize or chop. We can just do a gain change and bring it up like, a couple of decibels real quick there. I can also see from looking at the sample that our right was panned a lot to the right somehow. We've got a lot more signal on the right-hand side than the left-hand side. So when I assign this sample, I'm going to want to make sure that I pan it a little bit to the left as well. If I go into note mode here, I believe I can assign that right here on this pad and chords pad. Yeah, now we can, let's see, panning and velocity, and I can pan this a little bit to the left. Awesome. Sounds nice. I think I want to put an air parametric EQ on this, so that I can just remove any low frequencies that may be just, hiding out in the mix beneath like 100 hertz or something. That might, sort of conflict with our bass drum or our, bass synth rather. And let's go ahead and try to get this sound in the mix now. We're going to go back to the matrix so that I can create a clip. We did that already. Cool. I can go into the clip then and just put this right on the downbeat. I just remembered also that I need to tell this sound not to play in its entirety when I tap the note, that it should only play, when I'm holding it down and not just play out every time. So we need to do that still. This is an 8-bar loop, however, so I'm going to put the note, to hold this note for 8 bars. And then if we just go back, I can tell this note, only play when I hold you down, and when I don't, don't play. And now we should be able to hear our groove coming through. Yeah. What we've got is we've now got 3 tracks. That new one is a bit loud, but to help me set the volumes a little bit, more even from the beginning, what I like to do is to put like a limiter on the master bus to help protect our ears, our headphones, and our speakers. I believe that plugin is like the maximizer plugin that has a limiter in it, and we can put that on the master bus of the Force, and I think we should go ahead and do that now before we get any further in creating what we're creating today. So on outputs 1 and 2, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the parametric EQ so that we've got a little bit of control over the frequencies in our track. We're going to remove anything beneath like 30 hertz. It's like too low for the ears to hear and too low for speakers to represent. We're going to just put a very gentle high cut at 20 hertz for, again, frequencies that are like too high for the human ear to hear. Lastly, now we're going to go down and we are going to put the maximizer as the very, very last thing in this chain, meaning every single thing in our track is going to go through this plugin here. I'm going to take the threshold up to the top, and I'm going to take the ceiling up to 0 decibels. I'm going to leave the look ahead at 0 and the knee at hard. And this is another really awesome feature, is that we have the ability to turn our low frequencies beneath a certain number into into a mono signal. And that's really important as you want your music to represent, fairly accurately across different sets of speakers. Is that you really want to keep that low end like as tight and not wide as possible, because a lot of the sound systems, even in modern clubs, are mono. And if you have your bass really wide and stuff, it's going to represent really strangely in large environments. And we really want to keep that mono if we can. It's one of the tools that I really love about the Force. We don't get this tool in a lot of other individual boxes. This is something that I'm usually using like in Ableton. But with the Maximizer plugin, I can tell it all of the frequencies that go through this plugin that are, under 120 hertz, make those mono, and it just makes them mono for us and just really centers those low frequencies across different speaker systems and makes our music just that much more accurate and, more representative to what it actually sounds like. All right. Let's hear what that does sound like is the thing. Right, I need to go... too much level now, so I need to scope that out real fast. Okay, so basically what I'm looking for with the Maximizer is I'm looking for it to be... like not squeezing the sound like a whole lot, and I can see on the meter that it's squeezing our mix a little bit more than I want it to. How I combat that is we just have to go back to our main mixer and we can take everything down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Do the same at all tracks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just to keep everything inside a little bit quieter so that we're not pushing that Maximizer quite as hard. All right. Because you can get kind of a nasty sound if you're sending too much into this. We still need to bring our volumes down a little bit more. We're still a little bit hot here. So over on the volume page, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, we are getting there now for sure. Checking out that Maximizer and making sure that I'm not squeezing our mix too much here. We are still going to need to bring it down a tiny little bit more is the thing. Volume. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I guess this would be called gain staging, just keeping our levels in line where they need to be in line. If I need more volume, I can get it out of that Maximizer plugin. But if I send too much volume into the Maximizer plugin, that's not exactly what we're after. So let me take a look at this again. Whoops, I need to go. It's strange. You can't actually start your clips and stuff when you're in that master page. So I sort of have to go back to the regular section, start the groove, and then I can go over to that master page. It's kind of inconvenient, but it is what it is. And now I'm seeing exactly what I want to be seeing here. The Maximizer is doing just a tiny little bit of limiting on the levels that we're sending into it. So we're not going over the 0 decibel, and we're protecting our ears, our headphones, and our speakers. Let me go ahead and save at this time. So we've started today by sampling kick drum, snare drum, and hi-hats out of the EMX-1. Then we sampled the bass out of the EMX-1. And then we've got this cool chord riff that we sampled out of the Quasimidi Sirius. I think next we can maybe get some sort of a mono synthesizer part out of the Quasimidi Rave-O-Lution. And let's see about that. Let's see here. Cool. So I can now, play the groove, and it's got the Rave-O-Lution, MIDI'd in time. Now, this has the same function as the others. I can just randomize the part until we hear something that we kind of like and maybe want to use in our track here. lot of low bass kind of stuff coming through now. But we already have like a really low bass line, so we're going to keep randomizing. That's kind of cool. Not quite what we want. But one of the neat things, you know, is that if I hear like a pattern that we like, but it's maybe not the right sound, we can scroll through sounds inside the box. Right? To get like a different type of sound, like more of a 303. I don't think this is, you know, quite the right riff, but I'm just showing you what I mean, and we can change the sounds. That's not... Hold on. It's not quite right, but it's cool. Yeah, it is cool though. I think it might be a major even, this one. Off note in there maybe. Not yet. Boy, none of these Rave-O-Lution parts are doing it for me right now. But they were sounding fantastic just the other day when I was setting this up. So I'm assuming that we'll get there. We just need to keep being patient and trying to find the right type of sound. It's not that. Not that either. See, the Rave-O-Lution is meant, you know, more for like techno and stuff. So it's got these kind of lot of these fast acid lines in it. Some of these might, you know, work really well with what we're creating. But it might be a little bit difficult to find one that, you know, that does. It didn't the other day though. Everything was really gelling. It keeps randomizing here. Yeah, alright. You just sit chill, Rave-O-Lution. And we're gonna maybe turn up the volume on the Raven instead. Trying to decide if the chords that are coming out of here already go with what we've got going on, or whether it's like too much. Maybe too much. Yeah, so what I'm gonna do then is we're gonna start randomizing over here on the Raven. Maybe instead of a chord part though, maybe what I want is one of these sequence parts. Let's find out. It's kind of a neat one. Not quite right though. So let's keep randomizing. That's not right either. But the neat thing here is that the Raven has 400 of these type of, you know, melodic parts, and we can just keep randomizing. I like this one. Maybe we can work with this a little bit. Brought it down an octave there. I can't can't decide if I like it there or if we do like it. I think I just want to sample that in for now so that we have it for later if we decide that we'd like to use it for later. And what I can do here is we can just grab the Raven chords and get these, I need to route that. Oh, come on. I'm going to pull these through. Excuse my butt if it's up in the camera there. Got some cable. There we go. All right. Cool deal. And we can route this directly into the force now and sample those out. All right. This is a right and left. Fantastic. So if I go into the sampler page here, sampler, we should be able to see this coming in. That looks good. I'm just going to go ahead and sample that into the force now. We're going to start recording, and then 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, and cool. Let that tail go off just a little bit there. Hey, what's happening, Joe? What's happening, Douglas? What's happening, Jamie? What's happening, Grant? What's happening, Tapsy? Hey, thanks for tuning in, everyone. How does the force compare to the MPC? Well, that's a great question. They basically just, this is more of like a clip-based workflow. Like if you're used to launching clips inside of Ableton, you'll feel really at home with the force. The engines inside of them are very, very similar. I think the force might be a little bit more intuitive to me personally, because it's all just sort of laid out right here, kind of, and it's not maybe as much menu divey as the MPC Live. Let's see here. That was 170 and C minor. Whoops. Come on. C minor. And that's kind of like an ARP pattern. So let's call this like ARP. Let's call this Raven ARP. Raven ARP 001A or something. Cool. And do it and keep. Fantastic. Cool. Now we can go in. Actually, we're not going to go in and edit that. I'm just going to keep that in because I do like that for later, but I'm not sure that that's what we want right now. All right. So what I'm doing now is just back to randomizing on the Raven. It's kind of a nice one too. Not really what I'm after, I don't think. That's cool too, but not quite right. A little too plain here. A little too organ sounding here. But you hear how these, melodic patterns just keep changing and it just keeps spitting out, these new variations. Again, there's 400 melodic parts for these melodic mono sequencers. This isn't quite right either, but some of these are really neat. Definitely old school. I mean, I like this one actually. Just not for I'm trying to build sort of like the main foundation still. So if we could find something that gels with what we already have in here, that would be all that much better. A little too ravey on this one, I think. This time from the Austrian Alps. Hey, all right. I did not update yet the force. Some people are having some bit of difficulty with that. And I didn't want to be one of those that's having difficulty, so I've kind of just held off on this most recent update for the force still. Back to that sort of octave. We don't want that. A little too pedestrian, maybe. Okay. I like the first part of that, but not all the extra stuff at the end. I'm going to randomize again. I hope you guys can hear. I hope you guys can hear just how deliciously retro and 90s the patterns that are coming out of these Quasimidi boxes are. That's why we're using these today. You know, I think it's the perfect, you know, old school package to go with the beat that we sampled out of the EMX to begin with. And we might sample some more things out of the EMX as we're, you know, going today as well. But boy, these old school patterns that are coming out, especially like the Raven, really, really bring me back to that early 90s vibe that I like so well. A lot of these are good, but just not quite what I'm hoping to find for like our main groove here. So we're going to keep randomizing. Boy, I really like that one. Again, just not for the main one. I'm going to get some levels set here, and I'm going to record that one out while we found it. Because I like that for like an outro or a break, maybe. Yeah, cool. So we're going to go ahead and get that one recorded while we're here. Just going to get this recording and launch that clip. 2, 3, 4, 5. No hats. 6. Where's my hat? 7. We'll find out. And 8. Oh, I missed that last note. So I'm going to try that again. Okay, I'm going to try that one more time. Get this recording. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 1, 2, 3. Got it. I'm not sure what that nonsense is all about there. Oh, that must be what I accidentally put the hi-hats. Okay, yeah, we'll figure that out in just a second. So this is C minor, and this is Raven ARP. That's like O2A or something cool. So we've given that a name, and we need to keep that. Right, I need to fix those drums real fast. So if we go back into Matrix, where was that? And like Note, what is it? What am I doing wrong here? What am I doing? Somehow I'm really getting these samples screwy. But we can fix that. I'm not really sure what that's about though. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and save before I go any further. At this time, we'll save those new recordings into the system. And it looks like we've got that new recording put where our original pad should. No, we don't. Oh, I see. Is it because I'm playing? Oh, sometimes it's difficult because I've got like the volume up on the boxes and I'm hearing it actually out of the Raven, where I think I'm hearing the sample, you know, but I'm actually not hearing that sample. There we go. Fantastic. All right. So if I'm just want to make sure that I'm doing okay and not like recording over the samples that need to be edited or something. Raven ARP 1A, Raven ARP 2, cool deal. I think I just saved, but let's save one more time. And I'm trying to decide now, like, is this the part that we just sampled? Yeah, that's definitely not like a main part. That's like a B part or a sideline or something. Oh, wait, actually, now that I'm paused, let me just take one moment to address that, Douglas. The reason that I haven't updated the Force yet is because the new update features disk streaming. I actually did. I'm currently using just like an SD card to store all of my sounds and samples and projects in. I'm not using their internal hard drive, just an SD card. The new version has disk streaming, which apparently, will stream samples from your hard drive. But if you use the internal hard drive to do that kind of stuff, you can fill that up and then have anomalies pretty quickly, I guess. So I bought a separate little like 1 terabyte hard drive that I'm going to attempt to put in the Force so that I can use like the disk streaming features where we're recording lots of stuff into it or having, more samples per session maybe. But some people are having some weirdness and some anomalies so far. So I'm gonna maybe wait until like a few more weeks or months go by and see if like another update comes out that maybe like addresses some of the issues people are having. It's like a brand new system, the whole reading and writing from the hard drive, reading the samples and writing the samples directly to the hard drive. And so there may be a little bit of like teething as, more users are using that and finding out like anomalies and hopefully reporting those to Akai so they can be taken care of, stuff like that. Um, and I also want to address that as well. How would I compare the Force or like the MPC or something to the 707? They're really, really similar boxes in that you've got like a lot of tools to get your music, pretty much produced and mixed outside of a computer. Um, I've sort of gelled a little bit more with the Force than I have with the MC707 just because of the like I don't know the way that the sample based workflow is really just like, easy to get in, put samples wherever you want. Really easy to work with samples. The MC707 does work with samples now as well, and we can record those into it, all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely got all the tools you need. I'm just finding the Force a little bit more intuitive, like for my needs personally. But if we're talking about like at the end of the day, I think it really depends on like what you're after specifically. If you're after like, more high quality synthesizer sounds, then I think the MC7's built-in synthesizers sound a little bit better than the inbuilt synthesizers inside of the Force for sure. But I also think that the effects that we have inside of the Force, where we can layer really easily 4 different effects for every single pad and stuff like that, and it's just really easy to work with. The MC707 does like pretty much all this stuff as well, but there's a lot more like menus and the screen is smaller and it just doesn't quite, gel with me as much personally to like write finished music in as say something like the Force. I'm using that more like, for its internal synthesizers to sequence with other gear and stuff like that. But absolutely, both really solid boxes for producing and mixing outside of Ableton. Absolutely. Yeah, okay, cool. So that groove is neat and all, but it's definitely not like a main groove, to kind of gel with our pattern here. So you guessed it, we're just going to keep randomizing for now. Again, out of the 400 different melodic parts here, we're bound to find one that we really like. I like that one too, it's just not quite right. They all work, they're just not a main. I need something a little bit more simple maybe. Again, I'm turning into a broken record on this stream. This is not our main groove, but that's a really nice groove, and I definitely want to sample that riff out while we're here. So we're going to go into the sampler. I'm going to just check the level on that last one. Needs a little more level. Maybe I can give it a little more level from the synthesizer itself. Yes, we can. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and sample that into the force now. We're just going to hit record and play this in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Excellent, we got it. Just a little tail there, cool. And this is a 170 C minor. This is a, whoops, I'm going to label it with the Raven again. It's from the Raven. And it's sort of an ARP as well. We can call this 002. And we're just going to save that for now. Keep. And we're going to go ahead and save this session with the shift and save as well. Let's go ahead and keep playing, and we're just going to keep randomizing these parts until maybe I can find, you know, what I'm hoping to be like something to go with our main groove here. Oh, come on, randomize. Oh, I see what I've done. I actually need to do that other thing, right? We need to go back to the, where is that? Exit. There we go. And then in this window. There we go. Okay, hold on. We got something is not quite right here. Let's find out what it is. Because if I turn the volume down on the Raven, I'm hearing something that we shouldn't be hearing, right? This is down. That's down. That's down. My pad is gone. I'm not sure where these weird anomalies are coming from today. But basically, like, it's assigning samples to stuff that I, you know, would prefer it didn't, and I haven't done it manually, so I'm not really sure what that's about. There we go. Now we've got our chord back where it should be. Shift and save. Cool. I'm gonna bring up the Raven again. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I like that too. But I really want to find boy, alright, I'm going to randomize again. Ooh, that is so 90s right there, wow. Oh, so is that, wow. These are all usable, really, just not what I'm looking for our main type of, you know, groove. Hey, what's happening? We got a couple of new ones in the chat. NXRTH21, what's happening? What's happening, Matthias? What's happening, Jamie? What's happening, Flip Mode? Alright. I have not tried Bitwig, Douglas. It looks a little intense. If I need to produce on the computer, I'm more of an Ableton guy. But to be honest, I haven't really been producing with the computer much lately. I've just been kind of playing around with the hardware. Well, I like that one too, but it's just not right for the main thing that I'm looking for. Oh, how 90s is this? Oh, come on, you know I gotta sample this riff. That's, oh, come on. That's got vibes for days. All right, let's sample that in while we're here. I'm just going to go ahead and arm this and record that in. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Excellent. All right. Well, I'm doing pretty good at gathering some riffs for later in the track. What I would really like to do would be to find something for our, you know, main groove. That would be really great. Let's go ahead and label this one. This is 170. Change the camera just so we don't get too bored with the same view, right? This is a C minor. This is Raven. And that's kind of like a lead sound. So we'll go lead O1A or something and keep that. Then let's save this session and keep scrolling. We're bound to find something sooner or later. Boy, we're finding some neat grooves along the way. I see. It's put that on the... It keeps putting, it keeps putting what I sample onto like another pad today. I'm not really sure what that's about. Let's go ahead and just save again. And we can randomize. Yeah, right on. That's a great question, Rustic. This is just a really cheap $99 mixer that I got off of Amazon. I figured it was going to be like really lousy quality, like noisy and like way too good to be true, right? It's got like 14 channels. You got 1 and 2, 3 and 4 for stereo, then 5 and 6, 7. So 1 stereo channel, 2 stereo channels, 3 stereo channels, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You've got 7 stereo channels, or, you know, mono channels if you want to route it that way. You've got 1 effect send that you can route stuff to. So again, I thought it would be like a lousy mixer, and I could do some, like a video like, don't buy shitty mixers for cheap off of Amazon, you guys. But it's not. It's worked out really great. And for the price, I'm super, super stoked on it. It's called Arvomic, I don't know. It was 99 bucks off of Amazon. It's not a USB. It's not an audio interface. It's just a basic mixer for, you know, getting your tracks together and routing those out to your speakers. I definitely recommend it for the price, and there's a link in the description beneath this video. I like that one too. It's a great little filler loop for later in the track, but let's just keep going. Keep randomizing. That's not quite right either. Not quite right either. I do like that though. I like this way of writing, you know, because I don't know what I'm looking for specifically. And we just kind of get to stumble upon things. Cool little piano riff there. That is 90s as hell. Okay, we're gonna go a few more with the Raven. And then I'm gonna switch back over to the Sirius if nothing jumps out in the next couple of minutes here. Yeah, the Sonic Laboratory knows it's in the mood today. Oh, hold on. We locked it. What do you guys think? I like that one. Yeah, a lot, actually. As like a main sort of theme for the track, as like a main kind of vibe. What do you think of that one? Oh, I really like this one, you guys. I think this is the one. We get a good level. I'm recording this into the fours. Yeah. Let sample that one directly in here. I'm going to arm this, and we're going to go launch, 2, and 3, and 4. Might be a little something squeaky on this. 5, and 6, and 7. I'm going to hear it soloed in a minute. 2, 3, and... All right, got lucky on the end on that one. I think there might be something a little squeaky on that. I love the vibe of it, though. We're going to listen to this soloed here in just a minute. What I might need to do is just pick a different sound on the Raven to play that part. We're going to label this C minor 170. This is Rave in, and we're just going to call that like lead. 2A, cool, and do it and keep. Now we can go into the menu where I can actually like edit that sound, right? But first of all, let's make sure that it didn't put it here, and it did. Yeah, it keeps putting everything on the pad that I've got our pads on, which is just really strange. Let's save again, cool. And then we're just going to go into the menu where I can hear this sample now, and it's Lido 1, Lido 2. I believe it's this one. Yeah, there's something a little bit squeaky about the actual sound itself. Like a little bit like resonant and not quite awesome. So we've got that recorded, but what let's do now is see if it's going to be difficult, because this knob here that that changes things inside of the Raven isn't really working per se. So changing sounds might not be super easy, but let's see what we can do. Let's see here. On the part that's playing, I believe, yeah, okay, cool. What we can do is, cool. What I've got here on the Raven is I've got two different adjustings here. I can adjust the category of sounds that we're looking for. We've got basses, we've got synth leads 1, synth leads 2, we've got some natural sounds, we've got organs, we've got synth pads 1, synth pads 2, we've got just some regular waves like MKS poly stuff. We've got some FN percussion sounds. We've got effect sounds 2. We've got more drums. We've got more drum sets. So maybe what we'll do is, instead of, it was in the synth pads that we were scrolling around in, maybe we'll scroll through some of the synth lead sounds, and maybe we'll check out, if we need to, some of just the actual waves that are here. Let's see what we come up with. Wow, yeah, a lot stronger of a sound there. Yeah, we're getting a lot of stronger sound here. But if I'm not mistaken, I'm hearing a bit of a, let's see here, a bit of some random on the panning of this sound. And sure enough, on the second page, it shows that the panning was in fact set to random. So I'm going to try to set the panning here to center so we can get a more, centered recording of a sample. Yeah, better. Down an octave, maybe? Let's go back up an octave. Okay, cool. I think that's a lot more of a cleaner sound that really cuts through the mix playing that part. So let's record that in that fashion here. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, Awesome. Got it. Got lucky on that downbeat there. Cool. Let's go ahead and label this one. This is 170. And again, this is C. Whoops. C. Whoops. Come on now. C minor. And this is from the Raven. And that is a lead. And let's call that lead. Oh, I don't know. I think that's lead 03. And let's put an A after it and maybe some other letters just so we don't get any name conflictions there. Cool. And we can go ahead. Oh, I see. That's why it kept assigning it to pads. Is some reason I had this assigned to pad set to assign it to, in fact, that pad. Now I just select assign to pad none, and that should clear up that little weirdness that we've been having with the random sample assignment there. I'm going to go ahead and keep this. And now we can go in and we can edit that out, get it really tight. So I can go into sample edit, and here's that lead. We can go ahead and start processing the beginning of that, and I can start zooming in right on the downbeat of this so we can get it really, really tight. Cool. Right in. There we go. I like the way that looks. Let's go ahead and discard. And let's bring the volume up on this actual recording just a little bit using the gain feature inside of the force here. I'm just going to go gain change. We're going to bring this up like 5 decibels maybe. That looks a lot better. And let's save at this time. Cool. So now what we've got is we've got a drum track, we've got a bass track, we've got a pad track for those synth pads that we added, but now we're going to add another drum machine, like basically, you know, a sampler, so that we can keep loading samples onto it. We're going to label this track, though. This is going to be our lead synths one, lead synths. Plural, lead synths 1, cool. And now we can go ahead and put a clip there. By default, it puts in an 8-bar clip, and I can go into that clip, and we can put, let's see, I need to actually tell it what sample I want to be on this pad, and I want it to be that new lead that we just sampled. So we're going to go ahead and find that and put it on the pad. It's pretty loud, so we'll need to make it so that it only plays, you know, when I hold the note down. And we'll probably need to bring that down in the mix as well. Cool. I'm going to just take a really quick second and put an EQ on this new sound real fast. And we're just going to pull any low or super high frequencies off of that. And then I think all we need to do is just go into the clip itself. Yeah. And tell it to hold down that note for the full 8 bars of this clip. Get it right on the downbeat and edit the end to hold this down for a full 8 bars. Cool deal. I see. Have the volume up on the Raven there still, so that was kind of confusing the situation. A little bit of level adjusting here. All right, fantastic. We're going to go ahead and save at this time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this on my monitors real fast so that I can do any sort of little tiny adjustments if I need to. Got some dog food and dog water. Got to get out of the way. Right where we're building the foundation of this is the perfect time to make any, you know, little tiny adjustments if I need to. So I'm going to just swap, you know, to the big speakers real fast and check out how this is sounding. Sounding pretty good, actually. I think we're going to move the, not move, rather, but I think we're going to bring the snare drum down a tiny little bit. what I think we should do is maybe get a little bit of a filter on that new sort of lead arpeggio sound, and then also maybe try to add a little bit of reverb and delay to our mix at this time. It's going to take just a moment to get set up because we'll be using like a send and return for this. Okay, let me see if I can figure this out. Sends, right, but I want right, here we go, cool. So, right, actually I can go ahead and just do that really fast. We can put an air parametric EQ on all of these. I thought I had it there already. And there we go. Every track gets its own EQ. That's just, part of the workflow here. So we're going to go ahead and put the parametric EQ on each of these tracks. We've got 4 tracks, so we need to insert 4 parametric EQs. We've got the drums, we've got our bass, we've got our synth pads, and we've got our synth leads. Cool, and let's save at this time. Okay, here we go. Now we need to get our reverb and our delay going. So if I go back to the mixer and we go to the sends, what is that, like the second page or something? Yeah, it's over here. This page, no, that's the submixes. Having an issue trying to remember this all of a sudden. I feel like I'm doing something way wrong. Here we go. I am. There they are. Okay, good deal. I just need to delete these so that we can do our own. All right, fantastic. What we're doing is we're going to set up the effects, sends, and returns real fast. And what I do is, you guessed it, they need a parametric EQ to prevent any low frequency content from even entering our effects. We don't want like bass frequencies to enter your reverb and then like create mud in that reverb or something. So I put an EQ before the reverb and I put an EQ before the delay, and we remove any low frequencies beneath about 600 hertz from entering our effects. So any of those low frequencies beneath 600 hertz won't even go into our reverb or our delay. We're going to go ahead and put a delay on the first send, and let's choose, oh, I don't know, I want, I'll know it when I see it. Delay analog sync, delay ping pong. I think I might want that ping pong. Delay tape sync. I probably want that tape sync. Let's go with that for now. And is that what I am? Yeah, that's the one I'm after. Do I have a preset for this yet, maybe? Yeah, I do. I have Dean's Dub 1. Let's just put it on that to see what that sounds like. And then we'll need a reverb. So let's go with, I don't know, this air reverb. And I believe, I like the opera setting, maybe, I can't remember. We're going to leave that there for now, and mixes on 100, good deal. So now I've got a delay send on send number 1, and I've got a reverb on send number 2, so we can give a little bit of that new sound, send it to those. Let's see here. If we go back to the, mixer, I need to bring this over here before I go back to the matrix. Cool. Now on that new lead synth, we can go to just this sound, right? And I can, on just this pad, I can put the sends so that I can still add other samples in this bank, and we won't be affecting those the same way. It's like an individual per pad thing. Boy, that is not what I'm after at all. So what we're going to do is, let's see here, on those, come on now, it's on this page here. Whoops. The this page here, effects, and then there's that delay. I'm going to change that setting to something super straightforward, like maybe a dotted quarter note delay for now. Cool. And put this dry wet up because this is a send. Bring that feedback down for now, and that's just one head active only. Cool. Let's try this, and we can, go from here. Right. I need to get back to that original page of the mixer. Oh, come on. Whoops. Oh, right, cool. Okay. Maybe we want eighth notes dotted delay instead of quarter notes dotted delay. Yeah, let's try that. Bringing that arpeggio sound down in the mix a bit. Take a second and check in with the chat. I know I've kind of had my head in the box trying to get this groove going. Hey, what's happening, music tech guy? Thanks for tuning in. All right. Still just trying to tweak these levels a little. Now we're getting there. All right, let me go ahead and save at this time. And one of the things that I know for sure that I want to do today is do like a custom riser sound using the Pioneer RMX-1000. That might be a nice thing to get into the groove here so that we can have an impact crash and like a riser to help our ebb and flow with the groove that we're going to continue to build. Looks like we've been live for about an hour and 40 minutes, making not the best time today getting started. Sometimes it takes an awful long time to get started. I know we did a lot of randomizing on the Raven there just a minute ago that kind of put us a little bit behind. But yeah, let's go ahead and get a custom riser sound out of this, Pioneer RMX-1000. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove the outputs from the Raven, and we're going to plug them into the RMX-1000. This is a left and right. Whoops, sorry about the clacking. Here comes another one. Okay. And what we're going to do is there's a noise setting. Right, cool. And what I can do is we can literally go back into the sampler, and let's see, I can play our groove, and I can roll. This sort of, preset over here and create, I'll just do that in time with the groove, and we're going to just sample that in. I'm just going to hit ARM and launch this clip. And just like that, we've got ourselves a custom riser. And let's go ahead and call this riser 01, right? And do it. And then we'll keep that. Let's see here. Back to the matrix, and It's going to insert a few more drum tracks so I can put my effects track as track 8, because I usually like to put it, all the way over here as track 8, and we're going to do that same thing in this session. I'm going to go effects, cool, and we're going to go to the mixer, and we're going to bring these new tracks kind of down in volume. I don't know if you guys were here in the beginning when we turned quite a bit of these tracks down so that they wouldn't be sending too much level into our limiter. So I'm going to turn those down by default, and we're going to save again before I try to get the riser in on this effects track now. So if we're on this track, and if I'm in note mode, cool, and I tell it that I want to put a sample, let's maybe put this one here though. Put that riser. Actually, maybe on this one instead. Let's put that one off, and then this one here. Cool. Now I just need to go into the sample menu so we can edit out that riser that I just sampled. We're going to go ahead and start trimming this out now. And I'll get a little bit more volume on this with the gain feature. Let's go gain, I don't know, 5. Yeah, that's a little bit better. And let's just zoom right into the downbeat on this sample so that I can get a tiny little bit more of that air off the beginning there. Process and discard. Cool. So let's see here. It's a lot too loud. And I also like to pan my risers a bit to the left, and then my crashes and impacts a bit to the right. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of a pan on that at this time. And I also like to put a high-pass filter on these risers. So let's go ahead and put the parametric EQ, rather, on this. And then we can, let's see, pull out any low frequencies that may be, hiding way down there, trying to conflict with our bass or our, drums or something. And we can get rid of those. All right. We can also give it a little bit of our built-in delay and reverb from these synths here. And now I made it a 4-bar riser. So what we could do would be to go back to our matrix and put in a clip here. If we go into that clip, I can put this, let's see here, was it A16 or A15 rather. I could put this on the downbeat of measure 5, which is going to hold, and then tell it to hold for 4 bars. Lastly, I can go back into the edit page and I can tell it, don't play in its entirety, only play when I hold the note down. Cool. Lastly, we're going to need to get like a crash. We've sampled that riser in, but we're going to need to get a crash that we can put in as like a downbeat impact. So let's go ahead and find that at this time. I've got a folder here of effect sounds, and I believe we can just go right in here and grab like my noise impact sort of default impact sound. Put that on that pad. All right, we can bring that volume down a little bit. And like I said, I panned the riser 10 to the left. So I'm going to pan our crash 10 to the right. So we've got a little bit of stereo separation between those sounds. I'm also going to put the air parametric EQ on our new impact sound. And I'm going to do what we always do on these type of things. We're going to get rid of any of these low frequencies that may be hanging out and conflicting with our bass or our drums, just so that's not an issue. Then we're also going to give this impact a little bit of our built-in reverb and our built-in delay, just so it has a little bit more, part of the acoustic space that we're building inside of our mix here. And I think that's it. We can go ahead and save now that we've got both those sounds in. And in the clip here, we've already got the riser on the end of the clip. I just need to put the crash in at the beginning of the clip, and that's on the very downbeat here, and nudge and edit in. Now on the impact sound, I do want that to play in its entirety every time I touch the pad, so we're going to leave that set the way it is. And we're just going to adjust these sounds a little bit volume-wise now. Looks like there's an extra note in this clip somewhere. Let's figure out what's doing that exactly. Oh, I see. It's probably done that weird anomaly where it's assigned the riser where I don't, to a pad that I don't want it to be on. Okay, so let's figure that out. In the leads, let's check these out. Yeah, it's put it on the lead synth this time. So that's odd, but we'll just put this back on our lead. Yeah, our little ARP there, which now seems a little too low. Alright, now I'm just going to listen to this again and adjust these new effects volumes a little bit maybe. We're really close. Okay. That's sounding pretty good. All right. Now, what let's do is let's sort of remind ourselves what the original pattern that we started sampling from today sounds like. I'm going to go ahead and put these outputs back into our Electribe here. I'm going to turn the volume down on the force, and when I press play, we should, oh right, because I had set this to be internal. So we're going to go back and change this MIDI clock to external, right on. And then I believe now when I press play, we're starting this up again. Yes, we are. Cool. But we've got this like muted and stuff. Okay, so the original groove that we started sampling from today out of the EMX-1 sounds like this. And we're creating something a bit different. Okay, good deal. We're sounding good, making a couple of adjustments there. So that's what we started with, and this is what we've got here. So what let's do is let me go ahead and mute all of these tracks from our original pattern, and let me play our groove here. But let me unmute some of the tracks from the original pattern and see if any of those sort of slot in with what we're working on now. We really need that. Just more distorted chords and whatnot. All right. Okay. So let's think about this. We were able to get a few parts rather, out of the Raven, and we were able to get, I think we got something out of the Sirius. Did we get something out of the Sirius? We got something out of the EMX. We weren't able to successfully get anything out of the Rave-O-Lution yet, so we still want to look into that in the next little while and see if we can't get something out of there. But we've got sort of a really basic groove here. Cool. What I'm going to do is go ahead and copy this first row of clips down to the second row of clips so that I can start doing just the tiniest little bit of arranging for us. And what we're going to do, I believe, is we're going to go ahead and delete the drums from the very first clip. And delete that as well. Yeah, or actually, well, yeah. And maybe delete that arpeggio from the very first one as well. So that we're just starting with our pads and our bass now. A little bit difficult to mix this on headphones. Hey, what's happening, Connor? Thanks very much. And where's the rest of my drums? I see I muted them, and we need to fix that. Okay, so a little bit of a type of an intro here, just a basic something to get us a tiny little bit of arrangement happening. 1, 2, 3, and oh yeah. Kind of like this groove maybe playing twice, so I'm going to go ahead and copy that groove down for now. Let's see, maybe the drums would start first, but not that lead arpeggio. Let's sort of hear that in context and see what happens. Bring in the drums here. Sort of a basic arrangement to get us something started, you know. Gonna bring up, yeah, the lead synth ARP in volume now that we're starting to get it in the arrangement. Okay, cool. So what let's do is just, let's go ahead and start, you know, doing some more with the arrangement here. And let's go ahead and just copy down our existing drums and copy down our existing bass at this time, and maybe copy down our existing impact crash at this time as well. Cool. So that we have a bit of a blank pattern in the next pattern. And what we did is in the beginning, I sampled some stuff that we didn't actually put in. So we still have that to work with. But I definitely want to get something out of the Rave-O-Lution. So maybe this would be a good time to see if we can get something out of the Rave-O-Lution. Bring all these volumes down, cool deal. And if I press play, why am I not hearing the bass here though? Let's find out. Bass clip. Oh boy. I've done something wrong. Let's see here. I see what I've done wrong. It's just a bass. There we go. Yeah, cool. So we haven't created any variations of our bass line. We haven't created any variations of our drums. We're just trying to get some more content into the track itself. I'm going to save now that I fixed the anomaly with our bass. And I believe if I press play now, we can hear our bass line and also the Rave-O-Lution. So we can just continue randomizing stuff on the Rave-O-Lution now. Again, with With the Rave-O-Lution, it's a drum machine and a bass synthesizer. So it only has one synthesizer in it, and that's a mono synthesizer. So a lot of the patterns that we're getting out of it are kind of like bass sequences, maybe be a little bit overdriving to go over the bass that we already have in the mix. So I'm trying to find something, hopefully, that's a little bit higher in pitch and not just completely competing with the existing bass we've got in here already. Is that when I decided to do this for the stream, everything was gelling so well. But of course, as soon as I go live and it's, the power of random, we can kind of run into these, sections where not much is really gelling the way that I would want it to. I'm going to keep scrolling a little bit more in the Rave-O-Lution. Already have a bass though, That's cool, really deep, but that's too much bass for sure. Some really, really aggressive sounds in the Rave-O-Lution. We've got something. Just gonna find out where I want it at its lowest point. Maybe turn a little bit of that resonance down. Got the stank face going. Yeah, this is it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and try to record that little arpeggio riff in. Just toss this down here for now, I guess. And I'm going to try to mess with the filter cutoff as we're doing that and just kind of bake that into the recorded sample. So let's see, I believe this is us here. Yep. I'm going to grab these and bring the outputs from the Rave-O-Lution instead of going into the mixer to go directly into the force now. And we'll need to just check out the level here. Stank face for days here. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and record it starting at like a frequency cutoff of 30, and I'm just going to roll that cutoff up. And then when we, re-loop that recording in the fourth, it'll start with the filter down each time and kind of raise up and then go back down again, creating, I don't know, maybe a little bit of help with the ebb and flow of the vibe here. I'm going to go ahead and just hit record, get that sampler recording, and let's record this in. Oh, I'm not doing the cutoff like I said I was going to do just now. I'm just enjoying the groove. What a fool. Okay, let me go ahead and try that again. Just going to arm this for recording, and I'll remember to hit the cutoff and not just dance around this time. Here we go. I feel not happy with that downbeat is the thing. It comes in on the, it's like it's coming in on the end of one. If you listen really close, it's not coming in down, down. It's coming in bow, bow, on the pullback of the one. Do you hear that? That's going to be a little bit difficult to get that part in because it's not starting on the down, down, downbeat. Maybe we can fix that in the editing of that sample. Let me hear something real quick. I think if we let it play for a total of 12 bars, I can cut it at the beginning of bar 5 instead of bar 1, and then we'll get a really solid downbeat. Down, 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 down. You know what I mean? So I'll edit that out as we're editing the sample. That means that I don't want to start rolling the filter cutoff until after measure 5. And I'll start counting on measure 5 in the recording. That makes sense. Okay, here we go. 2, 3, 4. But it's really 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. And 3, 2, 3, 4, 4. And 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. I think I got the end of that sample right. We're going to need to cross our fingers and hope for the best there. I might not have. 170, this is C minor. That was from the Rave-O-Lution. And that is a, let's call that like a 303. 303-01A for now. Cool, do it and keep. Let's go ahead and save. It'll embed the recording into our project. All right, and now we can go into the menu and edit that sample we just recorded. Did I not? There it is. Cool. Start zooming in there. Process and discard. Whoops, don't want to do that. Process and discard. Do it. Cool. And we want to make this a little bit louder as well. So I'm going to go to the gain. I'm going to bring that up in volume a little and just going to zoom right in on this downbeat. So if I need to get it really tight, we can do that. Come on. Cool. Whoops. Come on. Oh, for Pete's sake. There we go. Right in. Cool. Process. Whoops, I screwed that up. And discard. Do it. Cool. Did I get that beginning point real well? Boy, that is a loud, aggressive sample. Right on. Did I save after we've trimmed that? Cool. Let's go ahead and put that in now. What we need to do is put a track for that, I suppose. Right, we could put this on, I'm going to maybe label this track. Let's call this 303s for now, in case we want to like add another one later. Cool. And close. And then if we put a clip here, then we can put that sample on this pad here. Edit. And choose that 303. Rave-O-Lution. Yeah, but I didn't trim that on the 5, so that's what we need to do. We need to trim it on the 5. Okay, edit sample. I just need to count this out so that, come on, so that we can get this trimmed appropriately. And let's see if we can do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 2. Oh, come on. Why are you being weird? Come on. I'm not sure what's happening there at all, really, because I'm stopped is the thing, so it should be cooperating, but it's kind of not. But okay, hold on. I gotta. Okay, where are you at? It's not gonna show me there. That's keen. I'm not sure why it's. Okay, there's the downbeat, right there. And I just need to zoom in and get that super tight on that downbeat. Yeah, all right. Now it's. I don't know what that was doing there for a second. There's always these weird anomalies on the live streams when something is just completely not acting as it would normally, you know? Awesome. That's what I'm talking about. Now we can discard that, and I've got a really solid downbeat on that sample now. Excellent. Okay, we just want to tell that sample not to play in its entirety every time we touch it, but only when we are holding it down. Okay, cool. Now we can go back into this clip, and we can put it on the downbeat, and we can tell it to hold for an entire 8 bars, if I'm not mistaken. And now we've got that in, which we can, you know, mix the level with a little bit now. So loud. Back on our mixer, we'll bring this down. Okay, where's my, I think it's done that duplicate sample thing. Let's find out on our lead synth, edit. And on our synth pads, edit, no. That's why. Still had the volume up on the Rave-O-Lution there. Okay, where is that? It's on another track, because I've just muted the 303, and it's still coming through. It's being really odd today. That is definitely an odd situation. I haven't really experienced this before. Alright, so let's put it here for some reason. We'll fix that. This is our bass, and we just want our original bass line back here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go, bass. Oh, okay, cool deal. And back to the matrix, and then start unmuting these other tracks, right? Now, our chords are not playing here, so we don't have to mix to the chords, but I think our 303 might be a little loud. Put a little bit of our effects on it as well, so it can kind of get in the same acoustic space as the rest of our tracks here. All right. Hey, what's happening? Original Synth, thanks for tuning in. Hey, what's happening? Big John UK, all right. Just gotta get the volume on this one sorted a little bit more. Okay, let's start trying to hear this in context so I can mix these levels a little bit better. The 303 is going to be way too loud still. 2, 3, and that's what we should have. Definitely is like some sort of a rhythm in the very beginning to help us sort of keep the rhythm, and we can do that. There we go, putting a clip here, and then just bringing in our hi-hat loop at this time, maybe in the very, very beginning, just to kind of make it a little bit more, to get us on the vibe of what's about to come in with these drums here. You can tell this hi-hat loop to just hold in its entirety, and let's go back to the matrix here. Yeah, just a little bit of, and then the hi-hat stop? No, play the whole time, please. Okay, let's find out. Oh, I see. Because it's just a 1-bar loop, Dean. Need to actually, account for that and not just try to hold down a 1-bar loop for 8 bars. And that's not a problem. We'll just make this a 1-bar loop and duplicate this out a few more times. Cool. One more. There we go. Just a little bit of something. We could maybe filter those hats or something later, or put shakers instead. What do I have this muted? Yeah, I have our effects muted, so we didn't hear the crash. We need to hear that too. All right. Yeah, we might do like a different version of the hats in the beginning and filter them down or something. Our bass line is there, yeah? Okay, yeah, cool. Our riser. Our lead synth ARP, which needs to come up in volume for sure. And then there would definitely need to be some sort of a gel there. And what I want to do to make that happen is we can cause this 1, 2, 3, and 4. So yeah, we're going to paste that down, and we're going to copy that one down instead, so that this happens on 5, and I've done some work there, so let's go ahead and save. And we're definitely getting there. This part, just is about fleshing things out, and we're going to start working on the arrangement. We're going to keep adding other parts in, all that kind of good stuff. I think we'll take that moment and go ahead and make an alternate version of these hi-hats real fast for that intro. What I can do is just let's see here, it's these, right? So we could just copy these over to the next pad and make a variation of this for the intro part by maybe like filtering it down kind of a thing, by putting like the air filter on it, and maybe put some resonance up here, maybe make it a 2-pole filter instead of a 4-pole filter. Yeah, here I'm just kind of bringing these down, sort of like putting them in the background rather than the foreground by filtering them down like this. Cool. What let's do is on these as well, give them a little bit of our reverb and delay. It's kind of like our intro hats now here. Maybe a little bit more of those. And let's just change on the actual clip itself, which sample we are actually triggering. We're triggering the new one now, so let's try that. And so our hats are kind of tucked back. Let me adjust this a little bit. It's this one here. Maybe actually what would be neat is, instead of playing the loop, maybe if we just kind of did quarter note taps of the hi-hat, so it just kind of went, instead of playing, the full loop itself. That might be a little bit more appropriate for the intro here. And how we could do that, I believe, is edit the endpoint on all of these. Need to zoom way in. Yeah. Cool. And what I can do is sort of like, or we could just probably put them in manually, right? Dun, 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 kind of thing. And sort of delete these other ones and copy that first bar out. Maybe actually delete that first one on bar 2 as well, and shift and delete. Then I can grab all of those and go shift and duplicate, and then we can nudge them where they go, shift and duplicate, nudge, shift and duplicate, nudge. This is just getting us, I believe, either eighth notes or quarter notes. Duplicate, nudge, duplicate, nudge, duplicate, nudge, duplicate, nudge. Still too many, so I want quarter instead of 8 rather. So let's take some of these away then. Let's grab, whoops, am I all the way into the beginning? No, okay. So we want to get rid of this one, delete, and we want to get rid of this one, delete, and we want to get rid of this, no, now I'm getting myself confused. Okay, this, every other one basically. So this one here, and whoops, I undo, I delete instead. Sorry, I know this kind of work gets a little bit tedious, everyone, so thank you for your patience. Now we delete all the rest of these. I know there's some, oh gosh, there's some more I missed. Yeah, I know. At the end, there we go. Probably could have step edited this in way easier at this point, so sorry everyone. I'm just going to go ahead and select these, and we go duplicate, and then I can, whoops, nudge them into place, duplicate and nudge them into place, blah, blah, blah. And we can just do that a couple more times. I think once more. Yeah, there we go. And now we should have quarter note hi-hats that are filtered down for our intro. Awesome. We can, you know, deal with these a little bit more later if we want to make them a little more exciting. But I think that helps our intro for sure. So what we need to do is we need to create a couple of variations of our effects pattern so far, because right now, I'm going to save actually, because right now basically what we have is just an 8-bar loop. It hits the impact on every 8 bars, and then it does that riser for every 8 bars as well, which is a little bit extreme at this point. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into this clip here. This is the second one, and we're going to make this one not have the riser, but rather just have the crash. I'm going to go ahead and delete that, and then we'll just rename this clip. We're going to call this impact only. Impact only, so that that riser isn't, you know, just constantly going every 8 bars, and kind of this is going to help us, you know, divide our sections of the track. If I go back into the matrix, we've got impact only. What I want to do is I also want to create a version that is the riser only. So I'm going to, let's see here, we're going to copy this version here and put that into the first slot here, and then we're going to delete this this actual crash, and now this is just a riser only. So we're going to call this riser only, so that we can have on our, you know, very intro section, we can have a riser that sort of, you know, builds up into, you know, the downbeat of our groove. I want to copy that impact only, which is that one, to there, and then that. And then that. I'm just kind of moving a few things around so that that riser doesn't happen, you know, every single time. And I'm going to save now that I've made those adjustments as well. Let's hear this in its entirety, kind of in the groove here. Hey, thanks for tuning in, Jim. Bass is a little loud there. And so basically what we would do here is we would do some variation on the drums, maybe variation on the pads or something to actually go with that new 303 line that's coming in. But to help the transition between these two sections, we would definitely need some sort of a rest on the bar previous to where this new part comes in. That gives the listener's ears like just a tiny little bit of chance to sort of clear out, like cleanse their palate per se, and then be ready for something else to come in the mix. So let's do that. We're just going to like pause the drums for like a bar, maybe pause one of the lead synths that's going on, and create just a tiny little bit of a rest before our new part hits in. This is that, you know, ebb and then that flow kind of stuff here. So I'm going to go into the drum clip. We're going to zoom in at the very last bar here. And I'm just going to create a rest here. 2, 3, and rest. All right, now while the riser is going on in the background, that's going to be a lot more dramatic. Let's go ahead and save at this time, and then let's hear that sort of in context, shall we? Do wrong there. I want to move that that riser changes yeah, to impact only. So let me do that. I don't want that riser to come in just yet. Yeah, I believe that's what we want. Hey, what's happening, Andrew? Thanks for tuning in. Hey, what's up, Michael? Yeah, we definitely want to rest on this lead synth as well in that pattern before our new kind of 303 comes in. Let's create a little variation, a little rest there. So you hear that little pause that we've created now before our patterns swap out? That would be a great place to either, you know, leave a nice dramatic pause or maybe add like a drum fill or something to that effect. Let's go ahead and hear this in context in that little transition again. Oops. Thanks for hanging out with me, everyone. Might do some filtering on that lead sound in the second part to maintain interest. Yeah, a nice drum fill there would be really dope. Put some more effect on that 303, some more reverb and delay. think we might put a little bit of reverb on that snare drum. Let's see here. Yeah, it's really, really dry, you know? That's the delay. Literally, if I just give it 2 on the send to that reverb, you start to get a little bit of tail happening there now, which is a little bit better. I think I'm going to do the same with our hi-hats. Just give them like 1 on the reverb, the tiniest little amount to kind of glue them into the acoustic space of our mix here. And right, let's hear that transition one more time. I'm just trying to decide if I want to search for a drum loop, if I might, a drum fill, if I might have something like that in the force right now. I'm not sure that I do, but I might is the thing. Okay, what I want is I want more drums to happen here. And I want that riser to be lower in volume. Or maybe what I mean is I wanted to have less reverb and delay on it. The riser. Let me just... a little less that reverb and delay. We're getting there. We're really close now. Yeah, I like that. All right. Again, I'm on headphones, so it could be a little off, you know, the mix. Okay, yeah, so what I'd like to have happen here is a little bit more drums to come in. And so rather than like just trying to load a breakbeat or something, maybe what we want, there's a lot of ways to go about this actually. I have some samples that maybe we could dig through, or maybe we could see if we could get some extra drums like out of the Quasimidi, which might be cool. Let me unplug the Rave-O-Lution for now. And let's plug, let me get my coffee out of the way again, and let's plug the Sirius directly into the force. So, oops, sorry about that, it's going to another one. And what I want to do is like mute the synth parts, but maybe like unmute some of these percussion parts and see if we can get something that might, you know, sound cool that we want to record into our session. If I go to the sampler on the force, we should be able to hear what's coming out of the Sirius. And if I unmute some of these tracks here, yep. Some randomizing. Really off on the penny here. Wow. All right. So I'm not really getting the vibe that I'm after at this time. Oh, come on, camera. Out of the Sirius, I really want like those drum and bass vibes. I think to come through. So what I think is maybe the appropriate thing to do is see what I've got inside of the Force. I brought in some breaks at our tempo, 170 BPM, and a few different samples. There's a chance that maybe we could find something in the Force now, and so let me go ahead and see if I can do that. Looks like there's some stuff in the chat though. Official, unofficial firmware image. Yeah, I'm not about anything that's unofficial. That's just not my bag at all. There's going to be bugs in that, and I am not interested in those. Where do I see? Well, again, like I've said quite a few times now, I think for me personally, you guys know that I'm a sound designer. I have way too much gear in here than anybody would ever need to actually, produce and finish music. But that's not really, what I'm about. I'm not about like finishing and releasing music. I'm, really about being a sound designer and being a YouTuber. And, if I release music, it's going to get this many views. If I release tutorials and explanations, it's going to get this many views. And there's only so many hours in the day. So I spend my time, doing this kind of stuff and doing videos and working on sound banks. And this week I just put 25 drum kits together for a new virtual drum machine plugin that I can't wait to share with you guys. I believe in about a week or so. So that's just it, is that I'm not like using my gear the way that a lot of you are like using your gear. The way that the MC707 fits in for me is when I need to bring in external synthesizers to like a project like this, and maybe I don't have enough room, to bring out, 8 synthesizers. So we've got 8 synthesizers and 8 drum machines, right in that box. But again, it really depends on your end goal with the music. Most people's end goal with the music is to write and complete, finished, releasable tracks of music and to get those, sounding the best that they can. I've released music for years under the moniker Prism Prime, and that's not really what I'm doing now. I'm really focusing these days on sound design and on YouTube. So I'm not getting the gear with a lot of the same intention as a lot of you folks are getting the gear or using the gear for. I'm just using it, as an external sound module, really only if I need that at this time. Because again, at the end of the day, I'm not really spending, as much time just trying to write finished tracks as like the average Joe, because there's just not enough hours in the day to do that. Um, Absolutely. All right. Exactly. They just fit different needs entirely. I mean, like I said, if you need, synthesizers and you don't have like your own, synthesizers already, then I would definitely choose the MC707 over the Force. If you're more like me and more into like a sample-based workflow and recording things into a device that you can use as a central sequencing hub, then absolutely the Force excels over the MC707, in my opinion, as a sample based workflow. But again, you don't have all of those amazing Roland synthesizers in here. You've got different synthesizers, and they're capable and they're cool, but you don't get near as much like synthesizer and synthy goodness in the Force as you do in the MC707. Um, Cool. All right. Let's see. What have we got here? We were going to try to, yeah, get some more drums in this kind of clip, in this sort of scene here. So let me see. Hey, what's happening, Opie? Do you need to go outside? Hey, buddy. Hang on one second, you guys. Help with Opie, please. All right. Got the dog break taken care of. What I'm going to do is, I don't know. Let's see about finding something potentially, whoops, on the hard drive here that we could maybe drum and bass samples. All right, I've loaded quite a few actual like potential stuff we could use here, but I haven't checked any of it out, so I have no idea what any of these things sound like, really. And what we can do is maybe play this groove and then kind of scroll through some of these samples. Now, the Force has a really lousy, really lousy time stretching algorithm. So I'm not trying to bring in any loops or samples at this point that are not at the tempo we're currently working on. I don't try to use the time stretch algorithm in the Force. If I absolutely need to stretch a sample, I'll take the time and load it up into Ableton, stretch it there, and then render that out and, bring it back over. Because from my experience, the time stretching algorithm sounds like absolute ass inside of the Force. So again, everything that we're going to be scrolling through now is already at 170 BPM. And sort of what I'm listening for now, because obviously we have lots of level jumping and stuff like that, it's just the timbre of the kind of loops that we're scrolling with, because they don't really like sync up in any way, while you're scrolling. It's not super convenient to just scroll through loops like in time as it would be in Ableton. That's it. That's the timbre that I want. That absolutely kind of gelled with our groove and didn't stick out in a bunch of weird resonances and stuff. So that's just a drum loop there, which I think we're going to go ahead and load. And let's see if that's collapse 170. I'm going to make a track here for drum loops specifically then, so we can, import more of those onto this track as I continue building it or whatever. And so we'll just label that at this time. Drum loops. Okay, and cool. And if I put a clip here, by default, it'll be an 8-bar clip. And we can go into note mode and assign that drum loop that I just loaded onto this pad here. There it is. Oh, that's a nice sounding beat there. You bring that down in volume. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. So it's a 2-bar loop. Okay, cool deal. We're going to go ahead and remove some low frequencies on this with the Air Parametric EQ because we already have a drum beat going, and we already have like some low frequency content with the bass and whatnot. So we don't necessarily want this beat to be just like stomping through. I'm going to start bringing the lows off of it at about 80 hertz. Just going to kind of bring that sub off of the kick drum, but leave the, we're still hearing that transient of the kick drum punch through. May need to mess with this, may need to slice it up or do something. But until then, we'll go ahead and save. And what I'm going to do by default is just try to put this in as it is, see if we can get away with that. And I'm just going to, actually, we need to, before I do that, I need to tell it to only play when I hold down the note, not play in its entirety every single time. Then I can go back into the clip, and all we need to do is put that on the very downbeat here, and it is a 2-bar clip. So I just need to have this hold for 2 bars, and then I can duplicate that 4 times, and now we have an 8-bar loop here, if I'm not mistaken, and we can adjust the volume as we need to. Hey, what's happening, Nils? Yeah, cool. We're getting there. All right. What I want to do is we're going to to keep these drums from like fighting with each other, I still want to bring in, like more rhythms and stuff throughout the track. But I want to make sure that the bass drum and the snare drum that we sampled out of the EMX, those are kind of like our main drums. And if I just keep piling stuff on top of them, it can get a little bit muddy and stuff like that. So specifically, what we're going to do is we're going to use the mother ducker inside of the Force at this time, and we're going to side chain our kick drum with this loop that we've just brought in. So when our kick drum hits, it'll duck the kick drum from the loop just a tiny bit, hopefully to get these sounds, kind of gelling with each other and not conflicting with each other in any type of a way. And how we can do that, I don't remember if I just saved, so I'm going to save now. And we're going to go ahead, and the first thing we need to do is tell the kick drum that it should trigger this side chain effect. So if I go to the edit on there, and I put that effect on here, I can choose the mother ducker input on this down here, the mother ducker input. Now every time the kick drum hits, this mother ducker input is going to send out a signal letting the receiving end know, that this should duck when that sound hits. How we're going to make that happen is I'm going to go to, where is it? Our new drum loop, okay? And we're going to go to edit, and we're going to go to that pad here. On that pad, I'm going to put the mother ducker. Not the input, but the actual mother ducker itself. So the track that we want to, trigger is the mother ducker input, and the track that we want to affect goes just the mother ducker here. When I press play, I can see how much ducking is occurring, and we can adjust that so that it's just a little bit. Bringing the drums down now, just trying to kind of get them in the mix. It's a little bit better. We're getting there. And I think what I need to do is to solo that new drum loop so that I can get kind of a look on it frequency-wise. For those of you who are new to my streams, I have a version of Ableton open here on my computer where I've got some visual effects that help me look at the frequency spectrum of what we're building. It helps when I'm working on headphones in here. There's a little bit of a frequency spike on this drum loop that I'm going to try to fix. It's a little bit of a spike way up in the upper range of the frequency spectrum at like 16K. And it's making the drum loop just a little bit like sharper than I want it to be per se. So I'm going to take a little bell curve EQ here at 16 kilohertz, and I'm going to bring that down just a couple of decibels and try to get rid of that little peak in the new drum loop of extra like resonance coming through. That I want to change. It's I see. So our snare pattern isn't quite like just a default on the snare part because that's how we, copied the original style of the drums from the EMX. At this point, it might be really nice to have the drums just doing a straight snare on the 5 and 13 because that's what the drum loop that we just brought in is doing. So if I go to this clip here and if I give this a new name and we call this like straight drums. Now we know it's different from the original drum loop that we already created. I can I can go in here and we can just take a look at these snare drums. Yeah, they're just in the wrong spot, basically. So it's creating a little bit of a strange offbeat with that new drum loop. It's fine for when it's on its own, but when we change the rhythm with that new drum loop, it really should match up, I think. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of these offbeat snares and put in just some regular snares real fast. If I go to step edit, right? I don't see the other. I mean, yes, I'm in there, but uh, what is it? It's not shift, is it? No. Um, when I want to get to, they've changed it, or no, because this is, I haven't updated. Fuck it. I'm just going to punch this in manually so it doesn't take too much time on the stream. Let's go record arm and just go for it then. This one here? Yeah. No, this one. Yeah. No, it is that one. Alright, I'm just going to punch this snare in manually. And here we go. It's not recording? Okay, we can fix that. Here we go. Got a little bit of a turnaround accent snare in there still. But now these snares are matching up with the beat that we added just now. Yeah, all right, cool. So I think we're going to need to bring that drum loop down a tiny little bit still, now that our snare is really, hitting at the same time as it. Let's save now that we've made that little bit of adjustment, and let me go ahead and check in with the chat at this time. Yeah, oh, wait a minute. What just happened there? What is that extra? What? I haven't done anything extra. What? We'll find it. Okay, so it's not. Maybe I can just find that on the mixer then. It's on the effects track now. Boy, why is all this stuff getting moved around today in this session? That's so weird. Yeah, it's put the drum loop over here where the riser goes. I've really never, ever experienced this ever. Little intense on a live stream, I gotta be honest with you guys. Stuff just kind of moving around everywhere, and you gotta find it real fast. That's not always easy. And what's really weird is that my riser is gone. No, right? It's just gone. I certainly didn't delete my riser, but it is in fact not here. We've got the noise impact, but there is no riser anymore. We can re-record that. I'm just a little bit like, I don't know, weirded out of how it's behaving today. For sure. I mean, maybe I did something wrong on the stream, but I don't know, yeah, all right. Well, let me go ahead and save. And then let's re-record that riser because even though I don't want to mess with that, we certainly need to. I'm going to need to pull these. These are from the Quasimidi Sirius. And what we need is we just need the cables again from the RMX-1000 where we can redo a noise thing. Boy, that is really weird that it literally deleted that sample. That is just odd. I'm pretty sure I didn't accidentally delete any samples, if you know what I mean. I'm just going to do one more thing before I actually do this. And let's just go into the sample edit page and just like, yeah, no riser. very, very weird and definitely a little bit disconcerting. All right, so that, let's see here. If I just go back into the menu and the sampler, and then we want to record this noise. Okay, cool deal. I'm gonna go ahead and re-record this noise riser in, you guys. I'm just gonna arm the sampler and then play our clip. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, didn't get it. Let's try that again then. And 1, 2, 3. All right, that second one was solid. And I just lost it by accidentally exiting the sample page. Okay, no worries. Here we go again. And thank you for your patience, everyone. 2, 3, 4, and... Okay, it's still doing that assign to pad thing. I'm going to make sure every time I record something that says assign to pad none. Okay, there's our riser again and keep. Cool. Now I can go in and manually assign it where it goes. And we just want to give it, yeah, all this stuff is still there. I need to edit the sample. That's doable. Sample edit. Let's see here. We just need to get right in on that. Oh, there it is. And process and discard. All right. Now, I think I can get a little bit tinier, closer in on the start point here, maybe just the tiniest little bit. Process and discard. Okay, fantastic. Now let's save again at this time, now that the riser is back in the session. All right, and that seems to have gone well. Let's go ahead and hear that in context. Starting here, I think. Yeah, because we got that problem with the drum loop originally. Yeah. Now the hats are too low in the intro. I'll have to fix that. That rest. That 303 can be a little louder, I think. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I think we're just going to copy this scene to the scene beneath it so we can kind of keep some sort of a structure going. And I'm going to save at this time. Then I'm going to check in with the chat real fast to make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, disturbance in the force. Exactly right. I sense a great disturbance in the force. Okay, cool. So now we've officially got something out of all of the boxes that I set out to use today. We got something out of the EMX1. We got something out of the Rave-O-Lution. We got something out of the Raven. We got something out of the Sirius. And we got something out of the RMX-1000. We did use the acid box for something. We didn't use the Big Sky the Triceratops or the micro pitch delay. I just sort of have those out just in case we wanted to get creative sampling something in. What I think let's do, haven't really made much drum variations. We added that drum loop. I'm going to work just a tiny little bit more on this arrangement. I'm going to copy that row down again, and we're going to delete our new drum loop now. And it's this one here, and we're going to stop our 303. Right, and now we can bring in something else, like maybe one of the other sounds that or loops rather, that I sampled in the beginning of this section. So we can maybe copy that impact only and put it down there. Cool, we can save now that I've made that bit of a change in the arrangement. And now we can go over to like our synth leads. We can put in a clip here. Come on, we can put in a clip there. And right, in the menu, we can check out those samples that we got here but didn't use yet. Let's see if we can find one. I believe these are them. Is that? Yeah, these are them. Right, that one was the squeaky one, I think. So we're going to pass on that, or was it? I like this one. Let's try to put this one in here. I'm going to do a couple of things in the editing menu here. We're going to go ahead and raise the volume on this a little bit, maybe again. So it's a little bit hotter and easier to look at in the editor as well. And now I can go in and get this start point really precise, hopefully, and process and discard to get, whoops, no, I don't want to delete that sample. No, that's a mistake. And there we go. I'm just going to let the end stay for now, I guess, and we're going to save now that I've made those changes. Let's see, if I go back into the matrix, we've got a clip for that. And so if I go into this clip, right, I need to assign that first so we can go edit and put this on, which one is it? Is this one? Yes, it is. Okay, cool. So I need to tell it don't play, in its entirety every time I hit the sample, but only when I hold it down. Cool. And I'm just going to put a parametric EQ on it really fast while we're here, and just sort of turn this on to sort of carve out any low frequencies that might be hanging out in the sound underneath about 100 hertz. Yeah, that sounds nice. And then lastly, we're going to give it a little bit of our inbuilt reverb and delay to kind of get it in the same acoustic space as the rest of our sounds. Just a very small amount, maybe 7 on that to both of those for now. And then what is this, an 8-bar loop? Yeah. So. Give it some more reverb and delay. I'm also going to put the mother ducker on this one so that it responds to the kick drum and ducks this lead synth out of the way of our kick drum every time the kick drum hits. This is going to be like really subtle. You're not like going to hear a big pumping effect in the mix or anything like that. This is just really subtle to keep the drums punching through our new sounds. All right, let's start checking this out in a little bit more context and see what happens, like when we actually get to that part. Hey, what's happening, Janice? Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is the vibe I want right in here, yeah. I wonder if we can keep that 303 going or something. It seems a little bit of a stark transition here. Yeah, not so much. This is sort of the, the lot of the time in writing for me, comes in this arrangement stage, figuring out, what tracks to bring in and at what time, and then maybe what tracks to bring out as well and at what time, so that the listener's interest, maintains focus in the track the whole way through. Once I get like a basic arrangement like this, then I, go in and really flesh that out. For those of you who watched the series where we built like a happy track in the forest, know all about that, details and the fleshing out of the subtleties of all of these transitions. That's not always super easy to do on these live streams, but definitely there's a little bit of herky jerkiness kind of in some of these transitions here, and not necessarily the best transition here between our 303 lead and then the next section. Something would need to sort of happen here for sure. Kind of lose that mid momentum. Maybe that new sound is too loud as well. So again, that new lead sound might actually just not be the sound to bring in at this point in the track, you know what I mean? Because it might take the, the vibe too much away from that sort of 303 style vibe that we've got going. What I'm doing here is I'm taking a look at the clock. It's about 1:03 my time. So we've been going for about 3 hours today. Pretty long stream so far. These beginning sessions where I'm like trying to build stuff up from scratch can often, take quite a bit of time to work on a foundation that we can then build on. We haven't really gotten that far today in a 3-hour stream, so I apologize for, how long this sort of takes sometimes. I'm just trying to decide, like, if we want to keep going today, or if we want to call it where we're at. Because, like, I'm thinking that the next logical step would be to maybe try to sample another more aggressive sound out of the 309 rather, to come after our first kind of aggressive 303, not to bring in like a more mellow synth, like right after that, is the thing. So what I might like to do would be to just delete that synth from that scene that we just put it in, but keep that clip in the session. But sort of, empty out that scene for maybe, it is plugged, no, it's this one. For maybe another line from the Rave-O-Lution at this time is maybe a more appropriate thing to go into. So, if I'm not mistaken, we should be able to scroll the melodic pattern here without changing the sound. And let's find out if that is the case. Because, you know, we did find a sound that we were pretty happy with. If I go back into the sampler, right? And I can turn the volume up here. You know, there's our synth that we've already got in here. But if I randomize this now, what happens? Let's see. Not quite what we want. Still very close, but not quite. Not quite either. Maybe a little bit too fast. Hold on. Hold on. I like that. Let's sample that in. All I need to do is just hit record here, launch the clip, and then I can mess with the cutoff as we're recording that in. Did that same thing. One, two, three, four, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I didn't want to get that downbeat is the thing, but that's okay. We should be able to edit that out of the sample, and let's go ahead and do that now. This is, let's go ahead and label this one. This is 170. To anyone who's been here the whole stream, thank you very much. I know this is getting to be a pretty long one now. This is the Rave-O-Lution, and this is going to be 303 number 2. Let's call it 2A at this time, and keep. Cool. Now we can go into the menu and we can edit that sample really cleanly here. Awesome. We can process and maybe bring the volume up on this little tiny bit there, and we can start zooming in to the very, very downbeat. Right in on that, and process and discard. Fantastic. All right. Now if we go back into the matrix, and on our 303s, I can put a new clip after our existing kind of 303 line stops there. And if we go into the clip, we can now, I need to, I guess, assign that sample to this pad here. So let's do that now. Is it this one? Yep. We just want to tell it to not play in its entirety every time we hold it down. So I'm going to make it a note on. All right. And we're going to sort of put the same amount of effect on it as the first 303 has. That's 19 and 18 here. So let's do that, 19 and 18. And then we also had a parametric EQ. So let's go ahead and put that. Basically, every sound on every track gets its own parametric EQ in my workflow. I use that just to kind of keep, you know, low frequencies from conflicting with the drums, and high frequencies from maybe, you know, spitting out that we can't really hear. And I don't want to fatigue the listener's ears with my music, you know. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a volume discrepancy here as well. That's negative 7.57. Let's make this the same for now and see how that affects the mix. We may need to adjust that. Cool. So let me play these clips back to back now, where we're changing from an aggressive part kind of into a second aggressive part instead of into a, more synthy part. Let's hear this back to in context rather. Whoops. Oh, what am I doing wrong? We're still hearing the master come through on that. Is that what the deal is? Oh, I see what I did. I didn't check when I recorded that about the pad situation, so I'm guessing we're going to have an anomaly somewhere now. If we do, we'll find it. I think we're good. Okay, why aren't we hearing that? Because I didn't fix the clip yet? Yeah, I didn't actually put the note in. It might help if we actually put the note in to trigger that sample. And let's go ahead and do that. And it's an 8-bar loop, so we're going to have it hold down for the full 8 bars. Let's try that again, back to back in context. What in the what? What just happened there? What? I'm really, what? Why aren't these playing at the same temp? What? Something is definitely off with the tempo of this. No, I'm just really, really confused. Because we played the tempo from the force, so the tempo should be the same. I'm so confused. 170. Oh, maybe it's hold on. Well, okay. It's definitely not something playing weirdly on another track. Okay. 2A edit. I mean, what the? What? I'm very confused as to how that tempo could not be accurate when we just sampled it this way. I mean, all the others have come through just fine. It's like, what? I think I'm going to try to, I really want to try to fix this, is the thing. So I'm going to just delete it from here and re-record it. Sorry for the tedium, everyone. I'm not sure what this is about. This doesn't make any sense right now. I want to get this back to 30 on the cutoff. Bring the volume up. If I'm not mistaken, Okay. Trying again. We're going to go ahead and discard that one. And bringing this back to 30. Oh, my gosh. And trying again. Okay, so that downbeat is off. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I'm counting this as 1. 1, 2, 3, Now that should stick to our tempo because we recorded it, you know, at the same tempo. So I'm just going to label this really quickly here, rave, whatever. No, actually, I'm going to need that for later. Okay, so we'll call this, yeah, cool. And then don't assign to any paths or be silly, and keep. So it was trying to assign it to pad A2. Let me just make sure that I don't have something weird assigned to pad A2. No, we don't. Okay, good deal. Then let's go ahead and save. So we got that recording. And now I just need to edit that out. And I want to remember, though, that I started on bar number 5 because the beginning of that sound was a little bit off. So, wait a minute. Oh, it wasn't that one, so that doesn't matter. Okay, cool. Where are you? Okay, I believe it's here, right? And so we should have a lot more than that. Yes, we do. So I just need to count out to 5 to the beginning of bar 5, which is going to be my downbeat here. Oh, come on. Why are you doing that? Okay, so that's my actual downbeat then. And now we just need to really get in there precisely. Okay, right? Come on. It's tedious on this one today. Sorry, everyone. Okay, process and discard. I still think I can get it a little bit cleaner than that. Let's try to do that. Yeah, cool. Process and discard. Okay, so that's Rave C minor 303 C. And then we put that back on this proper track here, this one here, and clip, and then we just want it to be on, wait a minute, but it's not actually, and then we can put it here. Come on. And we can bring it up in volume. I didn't do that. Come on. Is it this one? Yeah. I think I did bring that up in volume then. Okay, let me go ahead and save that this time, and let's see how we did here. I believe if I just press this, if I just launch this clip again, we should be good. And we're not. Let's find out why. It's on 3. What is that? It should be on 2. Okay, okay. We can move that down. Come on. And we're in time now. Hey, Opie, you confused? Come over here, buddy. Come here. Your bed's over here, big guy. Cool. Yeah. Good boy. Okay, let me hear that in context. Boy, that took a long time, didn't it? That was a weird one. All right. Do we want to keep that other drum beat going, maybe? Let's see if I copy that down. Yeah, we might want to keep that beat going. I'm going to save at this time. And let's just sort of hear this from the beginning, see if anything stands out at, you know, as though it needs to be worked on per se. Got that filtered down hi-hat, a little bit of a riser. definitely need to flesh this out a little bit still. Sort of, we launch from that sort of like, not happy, but from that synthy intro into full on. What's up, buddy? You can't get comfortable? Let's bring that new 303 line up in volume. Maybe a tiny bit more effect on it as well. And let's save, and then let's go ahead and assign the kick drum to the crossfader here, so that when I push the crossfader to the right, it mutes the kick drum for kind of like fun real-time turnarounds. I believe, how do we do that again? It's been a while. If we go to the menu and we go to the macros, is it in the macros? No, it's not in the macros. Maybe it's just in the regular mixer, in like the pan and volume. Yeah, I believe it is. There's an A and a B there, but that's like the full track. Can I go into, let's see here. Can I go into the drums and, I don't remember how to do this all of a sudden. Oh, well, that's all right. We're going to pass on wasting time on the live stream then. Okay, let's see here. We've been going for almost 3.5 hours. I think we're going to go ahead and start wrapping it up for today. Because I'm kind of running out of steam, and I don't want to let, you know, what we've created so far, like I don't want to keep going on it and then just sort of like go off like left field or something. I'd like to, you know, keep working on it when I'm a little bit more fresh. Definitely some anomalies, let me save. Definitely some anomalies along the way today that made it take a little bit longer. Plus, we spent a lot of time with some of the randomization and waiting on results there. But I think we have a pretty neat little start, you know, for a few hours worth of work here. Yeah. So I'm trying to think of like what we would do. I guess we would keep, you know, if we were going to keep working on it, we would just, you know, find more patterns out of these, you know, boxes that we could add, and definitely fleshing around with the arrangement and fine tuning some of these transitions. I think that's probably what I end up spending more time on than anything else when I'm trying to write like finished music, is making sure that all the transitions are smooth and that everything kind of, you know, goes where it should go when it should go there. But as far as creating a foundation today, I think we did a pretty good job. So if anybody has any questions, you know, in the chat, now would be a great time to ask those. Yeah, I don't have any experience with the Soma or any of those kind of synths. Maybe a little bit too experimental for me personally, maybe. Like all of those really, like the Lyra 8, the Pulsar, the Soma, like all of those. Maybe a little bit too experimental for me personally. Definitely a drum fill in that, you know, section could be nice. Maybe a few stabs in and about this section here. Bow! Bow, bow, bow. You know, I don't know. Okay, I've got an idea actually that what we should do before we call it today. Opie can't get comfortable. Sorry, buddy. Let me go ahead and let's see here. Let me just copy down this extra clip that I was trying to get in a minute ago. I don't want to delete it from the session, but I just kind of want to get it out of the way for now. Let me go ahead and move it way out of the way and save. And let's sample one more like aggressive 303 kind of part that we could have, 3 parts then to kind of go back and forth between right off the jump, because I'm obviously not going to be keeping all of this gear out all week long. I can't really get around the room with the Raven in the middle, etc., etc. So let me just copy like this whole scene down one more time to another pattern, and then let's just delete the synthesizer 303 from the Rave-O-Lution, right? And let's get one more Rave-O-Lution part to see if we can, put in here. What's happening, buddy? How come you can't get comfortable? Your bed's just right over here. Do you want to get into bed? There you go, buddy. Whoop, whoop. All right. Back to the Rave-O-Lution. Cool. So if we go to the menu and we go back to the sampler, and if I press play, we should hear the Rave-O-Lution coming through. And I'm just going to randomize this again. I think I've used this one before, this particular riff. Maybe a little fast though. We already have that exact riff in here, maybe. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I like this one. It's a little bit kind of, it's like the tiniest little bit, like playing with the tempo as well, and I kind of like that. Let's go ahead and record this one in the same way. I'm just going to record it in, and I'm going to mess with the cutoff as we're recording it. I'm going to start on bar 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I believe that was 8. Okay. We didn't get the sample though, so I don't know what that was about. I guess I didn't do it right. Let's do it right this time. I'm going to put this on the cutoff frequency of 30 to start with. And then 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Oh, all right. I think I got it that time. So we can go stop. Cool. And then this is going to be 170 C minor, and this is from the Rave-O-Lution, and this is our 303, I believe, C, but let's just call it like 4, just in case. 4A. Cool. And we're going to go ahead and save that. We're not going to assign it to any pads. Stop bringing that up. And cool. And keep. Cool. Now we can edit that sample and sample edit. Oops. Not that this really makes much of a difference because you guys still can't see. Sorry about that today. When these big sessions, with all the gear spread out, there's just no way I can get, close up on anything. So let's just start editing this out. Let's get a little bit louder. Here we go. That's better. Yeah. And let's zoom way in. Come on. Cool. Okay. Right about there. And process. Whoops. Stop that. And process and discard. All right. Cool. Now we should have it starting right on the downbeat. And let's see here. We want to put this on our synth track here. I'm going to put a new clip in there. And if we go clip, we can put this in. I guess I need to put it on the actual pad here. We need to assign it. So let's do that. There it is. Okay, so we want to give it a little bit of these effects. Yeah. Yeah. All right, I need to trim it at the beginning. That's right. Okay, so we'll do that as well in the menu here. Back to the sample edit page. I just need to count, let's see, the 5. It's been weird on this today. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's right in the middle of, oh gosh, of this. Yeah, let's find out where exactly. We'll get right in on it. Yeah, it's like here. Yeah, almost. Super close. All right, process and discard. Cool. Let's go ahead and tell it not to hold down always, but only to play, if we hold it down. Cool. Now let's go ahead and save. And let's just put this in this actual clip here. Matrix, cool. In this clip here, cool. And then we just want to put the third one in. So now we've got like 3 different 303 lines kind of coming out of the Rave-O-Lution in this session, which is a good starting place, I think, for this track to have a lot of, stuff to pull from these different boxes. Let's hear this now. Did I get it in? Let me mute that. I feel like it's in someplace else or something. And it absolutely is. So is it on here? Oh, I didn't turn the volume down on the actual Rave-O-Lution. Sorry about that. It's not anywhere else, rather. Yeah, cool. All right, so we may need to adjust the volume on this lastly. Let's see here, the 6 something. Yeah, okay, let's adjust this volume, maybe -6 something to begin with. And then let's sort of hear this in context with the other sort of aggressive sounds. Yeah, lots of room for like synthesizers to go behind these mid-range lines as well, I think. Yeah, definitely need to flesh out the arrangement, but I think the parts here are definitely something that we're going to be able to, keep with the mix and use. I'm going to save that at this time. I don't have any female vocal samples that we can use right now. Basically, I just find my vocal samples off of YouTube. Sometimes that takes like an awful long time, just randomly scrolling through random videos, trying to find something to use, like hours sometimes. So we would never like search for vocals on a stream because these get pretty long as it is, and that just takes like a couple of hours sometimes just watching nonsense trying to find something cool. Yeah, I also have the Quasimidi Quasar, which is a rack mount unit. We didn't get that one out today because it doesn't do the same type of randomization pattern creation that the Rave-O-Lution, the Raven, and the Sirius do. It just has like sounds. But I've also got the rack mount. I'm definitely a Quasimidi fanboy is the thing. I've got the Quasar, and I also have the Technox. But unfortunately, I bought the Technox from Europe. and when it showed up, it needs the European power supply. You can't just plug it into the US power. So I've got a Technox, excuse me, that I've never turned on. Excuse me. Okay, fantastic. Thanks for hanging out with me, everyone. It's been like quite possibly like the longest stream to date, if not, really close. A couple of 3.5 hours today. Yeah, shipping. I get that. Yeah. Nils has seven Rave-O-Lutions. Oh my gosh, that's a serious rave. We need to have a Rave-O-Lution party. Oh my gosh. Basically, what I do with vocals, though, I mean, just if we did have vocals, I would cut all of the low frequencies off of those for something like this. Like, take all the low frequencies off beneath about 300 hertz. Maybe pan them a little bit off of the center and definitely run them through reverb and delay. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, right on. So yeah, I guess we're going to call it. I mean, I feel like we didn't actually get as much accomplished as I would like to have gotten accomplished in this session. When I was testing things out, like, boy, it was just like lightning. Every single thing was just gelling. That's, the beauty of random is that sometimes it's just magic, when when you don't have something like specific in mind. But today we did spend quite a bit of time just sort of futzing around, and not exactly getting the best results out of everything. So I'm going to let you guys say goodbye to each other in the chat. Just going to check this out one more time, and we're going to go ahead and call it for today. Filtering, like on that arpeggio, that maybe some down filtering here would be nice. Drum roll there would probably be nice to launch us into the more aggressive stuff. Maybe a couple of stabs, And definitely some variations in the drums here for sure. Yeah, definitely some sort of synthesis behind this 303 line needs to happen for sure. Another pad, maybe. Yeah, and these transitions need breaks and rolls and stuff. But I like the old school vibe that we've got going here. Definitely something here that we can, build into, like, I think a pretty decent track. Needs a lot of work still, though. Yeah. I specifically didn't take the reverb and delay off of the sounds that we sampled out of the Rave-O-Lution today as well, to keep kind of that, that old vibe in there with that 90s reverb sound. The same thing with the Raven. Like, I didn't take any of these internal effects off when we sampled it, so we could just use these hi-fi effects. So we're definitely getting like a little bit of extra personality coming through in those effects and stuff. Hey, what's happening, Troy? All right. Cool. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And we are going to go ahead and call it. So until next time, take care of each other, everyone. All right. And thanks for hanging out. I really do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. See you guys next time. All right. Oh, and definitely keep your eyes open for an awesome new app release from, I can't say. Probably should shut my ass right now, but 25 new drum kits coming out in an app very soon that I'm really proud of, and I can't wait to share with you guys. So, yeah, any of you who are looking for new drum machines, just cross your fingers for a few more days. There's something really neat coming, but I should probably not say anymore. Okay, thanks again for hanging out, everyone, and take care of each other. Cool deal. All right.